Comic Timing is member supported by listeners like you over at patreon.com/comic timing. We thank you very much for your continued support of the show, especially in these frigid months. You pay for the gas bill, so thank you very much for that over at patreon.com/comic. Okay, fine, you don't, but still, for as little as $1 a month, you do keep the lights on here on this very server, so that helps out the cost for that. You also get some behind-the-scenes access, some occasional articles. Chris Naudis is about to put out an article on her rewatch of King of the Hill, and as well as a couple of other articles out there, plus some behind-the-scenes access, extra audio, you name it, we throw it your way. We thank you very much for that continued support over at patreon.com/comic timing. And if you want to give a one-time donation, that's also available at paypal.me/IAM sci-fi. Our heaters are on this episode. Deal with it. Hey there, folks. My name's Ian Levinstein, and welcome to episode 273 of Comic Timing. And I hope you didn't get enough of me and Murd over the last couple of episodes because, well, guess what? You got more of us. Hey, Murd.
Another couple hours.
Yep.
Well, that fits into your plans.
Oh, it better, yeah, because it is indeed previews time here as we get closer to the end of the month. And we will be throwing out all the previews catalogs, the many previews catalogs in the month of January as we head into the new year of comics, which is mostly March, except for, once again, for some reason, Dark Horse already being in April. So not quite sure why, but whatever. We'll deal with that when we get to it. I was discussing pre-show. We are changing format ever so slightly on this one because I got a little bit tired of scrolling through the Lunar catalog after discussing catalogs that are already in the Lunar catalog. So,
right. We already did DC. Oh, here's DC. Blip, 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 blip.
Exactly. So it'll be a little bit of a familiar format to those of you back in the previews days where we talked about it all in one catalog. We're going to start with the beginning of the Lunar catalog until we get past DC, and then we will switch over to Marvel, and then we'll go back to the Lunar catalog and the various other ones that are not particularly in there, like IDW and Boom and Dark Horse and all that stuff. So stay tuned. We got plenty of great stuff to talk about this month and all that jazz. And we very much hope that you guys checked out our deep dive of the new history of the DC Universe, the 4-hour epic that was released in 2 parts, so you don't go stir crazy. But that was a hell of a good time, and we've gotten very good praise for that one, Murd. It's all on you, my friend, for the extenuous research that you did for that one, and I cannot wait to do more.
Yeah, just dripping with geeky texture. But, most of the credit has to go to Scott Koblish for drawing all of those characters to begin with, and some of it has to go to the folks over at CosmicTeams.com, whose annotation I was referencing for the most part.
Yes, indeed. And we will probably also mention this on the next time we talk about the new history of the DC Universe, but just to get that out of the way, Hal Schroeder on the YouTube comments pointed out one character that we missed. I'm just going to point that out right here, that we accidentally skipped over the Quality Comics character Black X.
Right.
We literally missed the giant X on the on the cover. X marks the spot, but yeah.
Yep, he was one of the guys over on the left-hand side of the cover. He had a Homburg hat and a fedora and a patch over his eye and a mustache, I believe. And he's star of a quality feature called Espionage, which I believe was created by Will Eisner. And so it's far be it from us to omit any Eisner creations.
Yep. And he also read that Koblish redrew the second non-costumed Catwoman as Betty Bates' Lady at Law. From Quality Comics, so that may very well have changed in future versions of said cover. So pointing that out there as well.
That one went right over my head.
Indeed, but thank you very much to Hal Schroeder for pointing that out. And with that, enough annotations. Let's annotate some previews, shall we?
Yeah, sure enough.
Okie dokie. And as stated, we are beginning with the Lunar Catalog. Comics, the magazine. Interesting. The next phase, Lunar distribution here, issue 49 of the Lunar Catalog. And lists itself as December 2025, even though I know damn well it's the January catalog. So just happened to come out at the end of January, at the end of December for these January, aka March books. All right, starting us off here on page 4 of the Lunar Catalog with Blades of the Guardians, Volume 1, out of Abrams, as we get a manhwa. You know I love my manga, and every now and then I like to throw in some manhwa love out there as well. So, adrenaline-packed spaghetti western and Game of Thrones type empire drama, Blades, or Biao Ren, follows extraordinary swordsman and bounty hunter Dao Ma and his toddler son as they take a larger-than-life journey fated to uproot a brutal ancient Chinese empire. We swear this is not Lone Wolf and Cub, but it sure does sound a lot like it. Yep.
Yes.
Little bit of a Lone Wolf feel to it, but
right. Wandering samurai with small child.
Indeed. Yep. Apparently, over 1 million copies sold, more than 3 billion views online, and the #1 comic on major Chinese retail platforms. That is Blades of the Guardians, and now it is being brought to you in English by Abrams on page 4. And then on page 5, not The Wrestler, but still The Undertaker, Volume 1. All about sharpshooting Undertaker Jonas Crow. Could you have a better name for a sharpshooting Undertaker? I swear.
Well, Jonas Buzzard, possibly. But
Yeah. Doesn't roll off the tongue nearly as much as Jonas Crow does.
True enough. Yeah, that's.
He's been laying low since the Civil War, but when his old ghosts return to haunt him, he will have to make a stand in the company of 2 unlikely companions. A gripping opening to a groundbreaking graphic novel series by Xavier Dorison and illustrated by Ralph Meyer. Again, series of graphic novels. Starting us off here with The Undertaker, Volume 1 on page 5. Right. Scroll down a little bit further along, past most of the Abrams stuff. And, of course, for you Swifties out there, Style Codes, Taylor Swift, on page 14.
A guide to dressing like a fashion icon.
Yes. Any of you folks who want to cosplay Taylor Swift, boy oh boy, do we have the book for you on page 14. I am not one of those people.
Yeah, nor am I.
Yes. All right. Further along, get past here onto the X-Men My Mighty Marvel first book by Marvel Entertainment with illustrations by the one and only Dave Cockrum to go along with it. This is the next installment in the My Mighty Marvel first book series featuring the X-Men as drawn by one of the world's most extraordinary creators. This is vivid colors and 3 special gatefolds that help the X-Men pop off the page and a larger trim size fit for a superhero team. This fun-filled board book is perfect for new and long-time Marvel fans alike. So if you like your X-Men a-poppin', this is very much for you here on page 22. Okay, get down a little bit further past the Abrams stuff and into Ahoy. And we begin here with a whole bunch of ongoings, so skip over to Archie.
Yep, and it looks like all they've got this month is a pair of facsimiles.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. The 85th anniversary Betty and Veronica pinup special OS. And that is celebrating the 85th anniversary of Archie with a giant pinup special available for you on March 25th of all the Archie ladies. And as you said, Betty and Me is their facsimile on page 41.
So the other one is more like a compilation of earlier artwork, but this one's just a page-for-page reproduction of a specific issue.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Yep. All that and lots more, and Betty and Me #1, faithfully reprinted in a full facsimile edition there on page 41. All right. Onward to AWA and all their many preview pages. Reminder that Ordained exists, because they sure do remind us every single month, but we'll skip past that into hopefully some new stuff.
Thank you, Bad Idea, for that.
Indeed. Yeah. We got Save Now on issue 4 here. Matt Kint's Save Now. So if you've been following that, it's 4th issue, available there for you on page 73. And down we go into Chronicle books for a previously offered through other distributors book, which I feel like should be a drinking game at this point. But this is All My Friends Are Dead, which I remember mentioning in the past, by Avery Bonson and Jory John. Both the saddest funny book and the funniest sad book you'll ever read. Whole bunch of dead dinos gracing our presence here on page 81.
Yeah, dinosaurs and other extinct things, like zombies and cassette tapes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Although apparently cassette tapes are back in with the youths. So, yeah. If Law and Order Special Victims Unit can be believed. So, I don't know. It all depends on whether or not they're actually, grabbing things from the pages like they're supposed to be. But
ripped from the headlines.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, how about this here? Marvel the X-Men 100 collectible comic book cover postcards. So if any of you folks like sending postcards, like I know some people do, Chris Naudis, then you may very well be interested in this, which brings you 100 different X-Men postcards of different X-Men covers throughout the years. Available in store on March 11th for $22.95 face value there on page 83. Onward we go to Clover Press here. And Clover bringing us the Marvel art of Mike Del Mundo. Look at us. We're not even in Marvel, and all we've been talking about is Marvel in these first couple pages. But page 87 here brings us Mike Del Mundo's art, the 7th in a series of stunning the Marvel art of books, prints, and more. So any of you Del Mundo fans, you'll get stuff from his X-Men Legacy run, Elektra, Thor, Avengers, obviously Spider-Punk, and more. All available for you there on page 87. Pretty art for all. And the Amazing Spider-Man classic newspaper comics have reached page 1978 in softcover for the first time in a die-cut vertical slipcase. So how about them apples there? The year of 1978, in association with the Library of American Comics, Clover Press brings you that. Written by Stan the Man himself, drawn by John Romita Sr. himself. These 1978 newspaper comics available in a gorgeous format for you there on page 90. All in beautiful black and white and color for the Sunday strips. And then we get Tom the Dancing Bug, Volume 1, Secret Origins, with a quote by Mark Hamill that just makes me happy. Behold the wondrous, whimsical, witty world that is Tom the Dancing Bug. If you're someone who's not a fan of potent political humor with an incisive, absurdist twist that's not only consistently funny but downright therapeutic for an ailing world, I suggest you avoid this book like the plague. For everyone else, it's a must-read. Certainly a glowing endorsement, enough to hear from Mr. Hamill himself on this one.
Yeah. Who knows a thing or two about satire?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
Yeah. And speaking of satire, it's got a fantastic 4 #1 parody cover. This collection does.
Yes, it do. Yep.
Brought to us by cartoonist Reuben Bowling.
Who dares wake me? Human powers, activate! Giant wombats! Get along, ugly. Page 91 there for Tom the Dancing Bug. And just like that, as if almost on cue, DC.
All right.
Yep. And we'll be going with the Lunar catalog numbering for DC on this, by the way. So just a note, any of you folks looking at the individual catalog, actually, you know what? They have their actual page numbers. So I'll do a little bit of both. I'll throw in the Lunar page numbers for the hell of it, but we will work off of DC Connect's individual page numbers since they're there. So
sure.
Yeah, there we go.
Lunars are a little easier to read, but we'll still accommodate those of you who are reading the paper copy, as I am doing as well.
Indeed. And right there on page 2/97, we get ourselves the Bastich returning in full form. Lobo #1, written by Scotty Young with art and cover by Jorge Corona. This is a new DC book here that I am very much looking forward to. That is an excellent creative team for the first of these next level books being solicited here.
Yeah, well, they're telling us on the front cover here, bold talent, extraordinary characters, unexpected visions.
Yep.
So this is bold talent indeed. It's happy to see Scotty Young writing some Lobo here, or just writing something for DC. And, talking about unexpected visions, what draws me in here is the last sentence of the solicitation. Don't miss the mayhem, special guests, or tasty continuity. Don't you do it.
Ooh.
There's one thing I don't tend to associate with Lobo stories. It's tasty continuity. But that's my favorite flavor, so, I might just have to... normally Lobo is one of my least favorite DC characters, but this series I might have to just at least give a look.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It won't be vanilla flavored continuity. It'll definitely be something like a spicy chocolate or something like that.
I was imagining rum raisin or...
Ooh, there you go. Not bad at all. Yeah. Well, yeah. Lobo comes your way here on March 4th on page 2 of the catalog, and I really like these renderings of what Lobo's going to look like. It's a scratchy, sketchy style, reminiscent of some anime I've seen, to be honest with you, and I'm digging it. I'm absolutely digging it for the character. Like the combo with the blue and the grays there.
Yep, for the character, yes, it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. And then on page 4, the Terminator's back. That was for you, Raph. I know you're not on this one, but Deathstroke the Terminator. He's returned. He's back. And what a frickin' team for this one. Tony Fleeks and Carmine Di Giandomenico bringing it to you on this one, as this soldier turned superhuman assassin for hire has made hundreds of enemies, and the hit is out on Deathstroke as he evolves into his purest form, a Terminator out for revenge and ready to kill anyone who stands in his way. Yep.
Traditionally, another one of my least favorite DC characters, at least when he's written as protagonist. But I've been known to pick up a few runs here and there. I know Priest was writing Deathstroke a couple years ago, and I was on board for that.
Yep.
So, I'm not above giving this one a shot, too.
I haven't found a Fleeks book I've disliked yet, so it's a damn fine writer to get on there for it, and I trust in him. I certainly want to check this one out. So, page 4/99, Deathstroke, the Terminator, #1. Ooh, you can get a look at a stealth suit variant of him. Looks like very nice. And then somebody who's never worked on Batwoman before gets to work on Batwoman. Yep.
Yeah, this is not exactly one of the unexpected visions advertised, but it's a welcome one all the same. It's Greg Rucka, who co-created Kate Kane, coming back to writer once again, this time with an artist named Danny. Yep. That's capital A, lowercase a, capital D, lowercase a, capital N, lowercase I.
Yep.
Donnie.
Daughter, sister, soldier, hero. But since she was 10 years old, Kate Kane has lived in the shadow of a prophecy and the machinations of a religion devoted to the end of all things. How do you fight the devil when the devil is real, and how do you win? We'll find that out together here in Batwoman #1 by one of the best damn writers in comics, Greg Rucka. And, ooh, those are some pretty pages on the following pages as well. Yeah, I dig it. Almost reminiscent of like a Michael Lark in its execution. A little more grounded and real than we tend to get from a Batwoman comic.
Yep. Probably looks better here than it will look once colored.
Point well taken. Yeah, but we'll certainly find that out for sure. But Greg Rucka and Danny there on page 6/101. Then we go back into DCKO as they knock out their 5th issue here. In the melee that started with dozens of heroes and villains vying for their chance to win ultimate power. Now only one remains, but to truly be crowned the King Omega, you must battle more than the obstacles in your path. You must battle yourself. And quite literally, battle leads to Darkseid. Thank you.
We didn't mention it, but there was a book of Yoda Wit and Wisdom back under Abrams, I think it was.
Yes, and I may very well wind up picking that one up. No reason whatsoever. But yeah, DCKO issue 5 here on page 8/103. We're getting closer to the end of this one. On we go to Absolute Batman number 18, as Eric Canetti is the artist for this particular issue here, along with Scott Snyder. And after the explosive reveal of last issue, the Batman continues to fight Poison Ivy's mutated monsters and winds up uncovering an even more gruesome horror that has embedded itself in the city's very foundations.
Yep. And something in the background of that cover is redacted.
Ooh, really? That's not the final cover? I just thought that that the new villain's name was redacted. Oh well. That would be a good name for a villain. Now that I think about it, like if he's a fourth wall breaking villain that can literally redact people from the pages of a comic, not bad.
Yeah, I can see that working.
Nobody steal that, by the way. I've copyrighted it already. Sorry. Page 11/106 for that one. And Zatanna continuing to step herself in, this time in Absolute Wonder Woman issue 18 by Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman. They're on page 12/107. And Superman must save Metropolis from Parasite. And Lex Luthor finally getting involved here a little bit as well in Jason Aaron's 17th issue of Absolute Superman on page 13/108. Absolute Martian Manhunter's 10th issue, Denise Camp and Javier Rodriguez getting close to a final, the end of the second arc here, which would be issue 12 when it does hit. But we're on issue 10 here, as John takes on the agency while his family and his world crumbles around him. Continues to be one of the best Absolute books, and certainly the most indie feel of them all. On page 14.
It's one of the few that I'm shelling out for month after month.
Nice. I even though I have access to DC Infinite, I finally realized that I could pick up a Yonkers library card with my New York City address. So I did that, and they're currently mailing it to me, but they gave me a digital one, and because of that, I finally have access to Hoopla. And Hoopla is one of the best digital library apps available, and they have a whole bunch of Marvel and DC on there. So, including the first volume of Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Yep. A little reward for supporting your local library system.
Absolutely. So, any of you folks who don't have DC Infinite or don't have the means of buying it, just see if your local library system is on Hoopla, and you can go ahead and read it there. So, there you go. Page 15, we're dealing with further monkey actions with Absolute Flash and the very, very different version of Grodd. So page 15/110 gives you more of that. And Obsidian is the man that Joe Mullen is facing in Absolute Green Lantern issue 12 here on page 16/111. We get Absolute Obsidian involved. And thank you very much for these words. I'm gonna cherish these words right here. Kyle Rayner leads the next chapter of the Green Lantern mythos starting here. Let's breathe that in, shall we? Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that cover still has him appearing under Hal's armpit, but good to know that he's got a more important part to play inside the comic.
Most definitely, yeah. And there's a bunch of different variants that just have him on there, and then there's a whole legacy wraparound variant that has as many Green Lanterns as you could fit under the sun in it as well. But yeah, issue 600 of Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams, Ron Mars himself, and others. Artwork by Zermanico, Darryl Banks, V. Ken Marion, and others as well. This double-sized, more than double-sized issue of Green Lantern issue 600, 56 pages for only $5.99. Yeah. Considering Marvel charges, for 32 pages sometimes $5.99. That ain't too bad.
Yep. That's by current page rates. That is certainly reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just a little sorry to see DC getting tangled up in all this legacy numbering hoopla here. They haven't. If you look at the checklist at the end of the catalog, this issue is listed there as Green Lantern number 33. So,
okay.
if this is going to be issue number 600, I hope they stick to that and just kind of keep up with that numbering rolling forward here, as opposed to just jumping back to number 34 next month. Which would
I guarantee you. Yeah, I guarantee you it's going to be issue 33/600, and then they're just going to be issue 34 after that. And then they won't mention it again until issue 700, because that's the way they tend to do it these days. Yeah. Oh, well. But page 17 there for a milestone issue of Green Lantern. If you combined Kyle with Hal with regular Green Lantern and all that jazz, you get it all together and you get issue 600. So there you go. Meanwhile, in Vertigo, a whole bunch of ongoings at this point. So not much to mention there as we skip over to something for the wrestling fans.
Yeah, now I wish Raph was with us right now.
I was at the panel for this at New York Comic Con. DCX AEW, where Steve Orlando and Travis Mercer were both on the panel. Good pedigree behind it. It's going to be stupid fun, and I will most definitely be reading it on the app and not paying money for it. But I will probably check it out to find out just how silly it is. As the superstars of All Elite Wrestling explode out of the ring and into the DC universe in this crossover issue, because Warner Discovery, that's why. And that's who pays the bills for AEW, and that's what makes it work with this. Yep. Brother.
All right.
Yeah. DCX AEW, page 22 there. Steve Orlando got a check, and we're moving on.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's going to earn it admirably. It's just...
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the target audience, so I'm just going to sit back and let you and Raph and everybody else who will enjoy this enjoy it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm mainly just going to point out the cover to issue 2 here with Lex Luthor standing in the ring with Mercedes Moné, as they are both rich people, or at least Mercedes Moné likes to consider herself that. Yeah. She is the cousin of Snoop Dogg, after all.
I love that Lex is standing there in his high-tech war suit, and yet he's obviously just used a folding chair to take down at least a couple of the fallen opponents there in front of him.
Yeah, at least he didn't take out Superman with a folding chair, but he somehow took out Wonder Woman with one. So yeah, that's on page 23 there, the second issue of that. And for something we're much more interested in, second arc of Fraction and Jimenez's Batman begins here on issue 7 on page 24/119. And as Batman is beckoned to Arkham Towers by the mysterious man in room 10, nothing will prepare him for who he finds there. Some might call him the Cape Crusader's arch nemesis. Others might call him his best friend. Everyone calls him the Joker. Best friend? What?
From a certain point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And here, and this, well, bottom line is it's Matt Fraction's take on the Joker.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
which means it's probably going to be pretty crazy.
Yep. I'd be disappointed otherwise.
Absolutely. And You're My Wonder War begins here. Wonder Woman issue 31, Tom King back on the title, Daniel Sampier back on the artwork as the Wonder War begins in full on page 25/120, issue 31 of Wonder Woman. I don't think there'll be any Oasis inside of the issue itself.
Seems unlikely.
Mm-hmm. Cassandra Cain returns to Gotham in Batgirl issue 17 there on page 26/121. And just in passing here, Harley Quinn is not only wearing a Batman outfit, but the slogan for this particular issue, "I am the knife." Love it.
Yeah, I like that she apparently cut a hole in the cowl for her bangs.
Of course. What else was she supposed to do with it? I mean, come on. I mean, Batgirl's done that multiple times. Why not?
All right.
Okay, no, just the ponytail, not the bangs, but still. Harley Quinn issue 60 there on page, what is the page number? Page 27/122. Yep. And wait a minute, Gotham City has a new mayor and it's Poison Ivy on that same page. I say, what? Also, I like to point this out. I'll just say it again. 42nd issue of a Poison Ivy comic.
Yep, that was supposed to be a 6-issue mini, and wow.
Yeah.
It's now septupled its life expectancy.
And G. Willow Wilson's still on it.
Yes, she is, yeah.
Yep. There you go. All right. Down we go to Batman, Superman, World's Finest. Take it, Murd.
Yep, it's part 2 of an arc featuring Superman and Batman versus Owlman and Ultraman of Earth 3 of the Crime Syndicate of America. I love a good Crime Syndicate story, and since Mark Waid is writing this and Marcus Toe is illustrating it, this will be a good Crime Syndicate story, so in.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Ultraman needs a little bit of color variance, though, because like his entire outfit seems to be like blending into itself. Not a lot to separate from the top of the bottom outside of that belt he has there. So maybe he wants to also put the underwear over the pants just for variety's sake. Who knows?
Well, yeah. At the very least, get slightly bluer set of long johns.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They're on page 28/123, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, issue 49. We are one away from issue 50 for real. No legacy numbering, an actual issue 50.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's been Mark Waid the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Meanwhile, guest starring Green Arrow and Black Canary because Green Arrow's book got canceled.
So he conveniently moved to Gotham City so that he can be a member of the Bat family now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm sure we'll start getting Green Arrow backups in Detective Comics soon enough. But Tom Taylor and Pete Woods bring us Detective Comics issue 1107. Trust me, I'm not upset that Tom Taylor gets to write Green Arrow. I'm sure he's going to do a great job with him. It's just it's clearly sales that have dictated this change more than anything else.
Yeah. These things happen in the DC universe. But, it would be nice if we did, as you say, get some Green Arrow backups. Maybe increase the page count to 40 pages without increasing the cover price.
That would be delightful. Get on that, DC. Page 29/124 for that. On we go to Action Comics 1096. Mark Waid continuing to write comic books. And the corner box variant for this one has Booster Gold in it, so I'm down. As Clark Kent reaches the spring of his sophomore year at Smallville High, things have changed for Superboy. Yes, he's becoming Smallville's protector, but at what cost? Buckling under the weight of his super secret, Clark now feels more alone than ever. Could there be more out there for him? Find out as the Boy of Steel's world is turned upside down by the truth. as it'll be uncovered here in Action Comics 1096.
Yes, witness the ghostly hand and toe inching into the left margin of that cover image.
Yep.
Almost as if it might belong to a phantom of some kind.
Ooh, yeah. Although it's a very familiar-looking boot, which just makes me wonder, is this his future self? But we're certainly going to find out one way or the other. Whether it be ghostly Phantom, or whether it be Phantom Zone, or if it's just somebody else. We'll know soon enough here on page 30/125.
Perhaps it's the ghost of Superman yet to come.
That's a possibility. Issue 11 of Supergirl here. Hero of Kandor? With the bottled city on fire, quite literally, Kara Zor-El abandons the comfort of Midvale to save the last survivors of Krypton. The youth are in revolt after a shocking secret is revealed, and the Science Council is put on trial for its crimes against the next generation. Can Supergirl find peace between the two warring factions? Very interesting. So, Supergirl issue 11, and that does look like Connor there with her, so hopefully that is indeed the case, that we are going to get some Superboy in this, but could easily be another S-wearing individual. It just looks mainly like it's Connor Kent Superboy's costume there. Page 30/125.
Oh. And here's another Superboy throwing his S into the ring. At the top of page 31, Superman number 36, in the wake of DCKO, Superman has gone missing, and Superboy Prime decides to step in, visiting from his redemption run over in on Earth Prime, which I guess exists again now. So he shows up here in a story written by Joshua Williamson with art by that Dan Mora fella, who's just all over the place.
I like the Yvonne Hayes variant, which has Superboy Prime reading Absolute Superman. That's a nice touch in there. Yep. No, I'm looking forward to this. I love me a good Superboy story, and this looks like it's going to be as many Superboys as I can possibly find in a comic book. So we'll get that in tow here for Superman issue 36 on page 31/126. And speaking of which, Superman Unlimited issue 11 brings us back to the days of young Connor Kent. So, Jonathan Kent, that is. Young John Kent, before he got super aged during the Bendis run. So further adventures of younger Jonathan Kent can be found at Superman Unlimited number 11 by Dan Slott and Lucas Meyer.
Yep. The latest issue of Superman Unlimited just came out in shops today, and it features Mixus Pitlick showing up to warn John about the villain that's going to appear in this issue. A fourth-dimensional opponent.
Yep. Fourth-dimensional demon, apparently.
So that means things are going to get timey-wimey.
Yes, they be. Page 31/126. And we'll scroll down over to Emperor Aquaman. They added the Emperor to the front of Aquaman now, as Jeremy Adams is in his 15th issue of this particular book. So just add an Emperor on top of that. Don't make it a new number 1. Thank you very much. As jump into the fresh start for the King of Atlantis and beyond.
Aquaman riding Starro-back across the oceans of outer space.
It looks like we've got King Shark in there and Mira. It's going to be a whole bunch of good fun there by Jeremy Adams and John Timms.
Yeah, so it looks like Aquaman is emerging from the events of DCKO a bit pumped up here. Yep. Cosmic Aquaman.
I dig it, and always like a good change to the status quo, especially when it's Aquaman and he's not missing an arm this time. So, Emperor Aquaman issue 15 there, page 32/127. And thank you for continuing to have good teams write The Flash. I really appreciate that, DC. Ryan North and Gavin Guidry are taking the reins on The Flash after that last Wade and Cantwell arc, beginning here with The Flash number 31. And while he's still in the driver's seat, So get ready for that as Wally West, now with DCKO in the rearview mirror, can finally relax and live his best life. Or can he? Because an awful lot of people are suddenly relying on the Flash to save him and intentionally putting themselves in danger to ensure that he does. Something sinister is happening behind the scenes, and Wally is right in the crosshairs. Also in this issue, our favorite word, shenanigans!
Yeah. Just notice that cover is that woman Flash is saving taking a selfie of the two of them, and Wally looking embarrassed and annoyed.
Yep. So we get that and more here, and it also looks like Wally's back in his previous costume or close to it, which again I'm okay with because really didn't like the redesign, the most recent redesign at all. Like, stop trying to change things that are good, please. Thank you very much.
It's called reinventing the wheel. You don't need to do it.
Indeed. Yep. Justice League Unlimited issue 17 brings us the supervillains on the JLU. Say what?
Yep. They're so unlimited, they're not even limited to those who fight for the right side of the law anymore.
Also, you gotta love the Redondo variant, which is a Step Brothers send up.
That's what I thought I was seeing. Booster Gold and Blue Beetle.
Oh, so good. So damn good. Mark Waid and Clayton Henry on the main issue there with Villains Afoot on page 33/128. And who are the new Titans? They've mostly been revealed, but they're still blank on this, so I'm not going to. But I'll give you a hint. One of them has an S shield, so it's probably Jonathan Kent.
Yep. And one of them has a lasso at her hip. And one of them is riding around on a flying rock. And it looks like the last one has some kind of a bat on her chest. So you do the math.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have since announced who this full team is. But I'll keep it spoiler free for any of you folks who don't want to know. But they didn't exactly do a good job of hiding it on this particular cover either way. So Tate Bromble, Torrin Clark, New Titans number 33. Once again, keeping the number going, even though it's a new name for the book. So, well done.
Yes, I approve as well.
Page 34/129. And Morgan Hampton continuing her solo run here on Green Lantern Corps. Thanks to the newfound power after DCKO, Guy Gardner is now being worshipped as the all-sight on Oa. Oh no, that's bad. Me no likey. No.
Yeah, there's characters in the DC universe far more worthy of worship than that guy.
Very much so, yes. Well, good job, Guy. I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong in that situation there. Meanwhile, year one of JSA continues. Jeff Lemire, Gavin Guidry. We are continuing that, and we are at the point where the heroes have assembled, but can they work together long enough to face down this existential threat to the citizens of Gotham? Year one, page 35/130. Very much in a golden age mood, so I'm looking forward to steamrolling through a couple of issues of JSA that I haven't read. All right. Look for something new here. I did hear something cool about Mad Magazine. I think if I heard correctly, for issue 50, I'm pretty sure they're giving the reins to Chip Zdarsky.
Huh.
So I don't know if that's going to continue past one issue, but I heard that and immediately I was like, all right, you have my attention. So this is issue 49 of Mad Magazine here on page 37/132. Then we go to the facsimiles. They're continuing the Dark Knight Returns facsimiles. But we also get a facsimile of the Jokerfish issue of Detective Comics.
Joker's Five-Way Revenge. Basis for a fondly remembered episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Absolutely.
Storied Steve Englehart and Marshall Rogers run on Batman.
One of the
Batman
earliest
Detective Comics.
One of the earliest episodes of Batman the Animated Series, and in fact, early enough where I think that may have been one of the episodes that Tim Curry originally recorded as the Joker until they replaced him with Mark Hamill. Little bit of behind the scenes knowledge there that some people know, but not everybody does. That Mark Hamill's not even sure why they replaced him, but they heard the lines that Tim Curry had recorded, and they weren't thrilled with them, so they called up Mark, and he became the titular Joker that we all know and love. So
yeah, that's new information for me, and I didn't know that Tim Curry had ever recorded any Joker lines.
Yep. Chris Nautis owns a giant history of Batman the Animated Series book that goes more in depth on that a little bit, and I think they may have finally released one or two clips of his original dialogue online too that you can find if you're looking for it. So that's on page 38/133, and then the first appearance of Brainiac. No reason, we just decided to put it out.
Yeah, it's not like it's going to be in a movie anytime.
No. Action Comics 242 there, and a facsimile edition of Wonder Woman's very first issue there, also on page 39/134. And the DC Superhero Girls High School Reunion. Shea Fontana and Yancy Labatt are behind that as the DC Superhero Girls return, this time in comic book form. So any of you folks who were fans of the animated series that aired for quite some time, that was at one point available on Netflix, not sure where it is now, you can go ahead and check out this particular comic that they are putting out on page 40/135. And the DC Pride issue this time around returns Tim Sheridan to a character that he is damn good at writing, and that, of course, is Alan Scott, as the Alan Scott miniseries that came out a couple of years back was fantastic, and now Tim Sheridan gets another shot of him here in DC Pride The Heart Wants, along with a bunch of other characters and a bunch of other creators. Page 42/137 for that one. Midnighter and Apollo, Harley Quinn, Joe Mullen, Bunker, Connor Hawke, and Blue Snowman are among the characters in this particular anthology.
Yep, that's a Golden Age Wonder Woman opponent.
Nice.
It could be arguably an early trans character.
Got it. Okay. That's not one of the ones that was on that wasn't on the cover. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Don't think I. Oh, no, wait. Actually, yes. Okay. Right to the left of Joe Mullen's face there, I think you can see the Blue Snowman there.
Got it. Okay, great.
To see the corncob pipe sticking out of the mouth there.
There you go. Okay, great. Batman, Second Night. Remember that dash. Dan Jurgens and Mike Perkins putting that together there on page 43. The full Second Night.
It's basically Earth 2 Batman Year 2, and it is excellent stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a DC book that has the full Chris Eberly endorsement.
100% on that.
Yep, and it's got mine too.
Great artwork too, absolutely beautiful.
Yes, stunning.
Yep. And Immortal Legend Batman has the Brent Casita sign of approval, and this collects the 6 issues of that by Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom, with Erica D'Urso, Dan Mora, and Daniel Bayliss along on the art chores there. That's available on page 45/140. And also Justice League Red by Saladin Ahmed and Clayton Henry, also on that same page. We get a really good DC finest to put out here. The Joker, the last ha-ha! Die laughing at the Joker's greatest capers, all available in miniature format for any of you folks looking to read them here.
Yep. Soft cover too. I think a lot of this material, maybe not all of it, but a lot of it was reprinted in the Joker in the Joker in the Bronze Age omnibus a little while ago, which I own in hardcover, which is rare for me because I just love 70s Joker material.
Sure, yeah.
So I sprang for it. But those of you who want to read that same stuff in a less expensive package, and I'm not sure that the Wonder Woman number 280 through 283, I think those are actually Earth 2 Joker stories from the Earth 2 Huntress backup series that ran in Wonder Woman for a few years there, in, circa the early 80s. Those might not be in the Bronze Age Joker omnibus. I'm not sure.
Got it.
But yeah, it's Some good Bronze Age grins there, courtesy of the Harlequin of Hate.
Absolutely. And because of the format and the trade itself, 552 pages, only for $40. Not too bad.
That's great.
On that next bit of that same page there, page 46/141, we get DC Finest Wonder Woman Dawn Before Darkness. Written by Gail Simone and Greg Rucka, artwork by Nicholas Scott, Aaron Lopresti, and others. This is collecting Wonder Woman Volume 3, issues 36 through 44, and issue 600. Secret 6, issues 10 through 14. Blackest Night, Wonder Woman 1 through 3, and a story from DCU Halloween Special 09, number 1. So, very eclectic group of stories there, but love the creators on this, and good stories to be had either way. And Green Arrow Year 1 gets a compact comics edition by Jock. I remember this getting great press back in the day. Andy Diggle and Jock put this one together. A lot of what Green Arrow Year 1 was felt very Arrow to me, but in a good way. A very modern take on the first year of Green Arrow, but done successfully with some gorgeous Jock art to go along with it.
All right.
Yep. And a little bit of, tiny little spoiler here for any of you who haven't watched the season 2 Peacemaker finale, but Salvation Run might be a good comic to read. No reason. But page 47/142 puts that back into print for the first time in quite some time. Once again, in a tinier format, 6 5/8 by 10 3/16. And I love this story. It was nice villain insanity back in the day. And Bill Willingham on the writing chores, along with Lila Sturgis, with Sean Chan, Joe Bennett, and Walden Wong on the artwork. You can't go wrong. You really can't.
Yeah, I'm halfway through reading that for the first time. Yep, so, I don't really know where it ends up, but the premise is the government or Checkmate or whoever is rounding up all the villains and sending them off to an alien planet, just dumping them off on this planetoid someplace to get them out of the good citizens' hair. And they form up little tribal groups and make war with each other and with their hostile environment, because the place is basically one big apocalyptic death trap. Mm-hmm. And it is kind of there's some interesting bits of characterization in there for the many different major and minor DC villains that are involved.
Yep.
Including some that were created basically just for the purpose.
And hint, one of them may be a double agent. You can probably guess which one by literally looking at who's on the cover, but that's beside the point. I'm not going to give it away, but it's kind of obvious.
Yep, I can see that person staring at me right now.
Yep. Page 47/142 for that. And by the way, this has been your time bubble moment. I should create a bumper for that whenever that happens to come up. Nicely done here.
I'll send over my sound effect.
Yes. All right. We also get Absolute Green Lantern Rebirth by Jeff Johns, artwork by a guy whose name I don't like to read, Prentice Rollins, and Marlo Alquiza on page 48/143. Good. This is where Hal first came back. So if you want to, be interested in that and see how it happened, that is all there for you there on page 48. It's been published many a time. This is the 2026 edition.
Mm-hmm. Don't miss this defining epic for Hal Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Defining, as in he's not dead anymore. He's back now.
Defining, as in defining misspelled.
Oh, no. Oh, God, you're right. Hey, you know what? It's better than a deafening epic, I guess. So, all right. Defining. An epic as read by Homer Simpson. Defining. The Green Arrow by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino gets back in print as well there. And Paul Dini's Zatanna gets an omnibus as well on page 49/144. That's some great Paul Dini work right there by Zatanna. Well worth reading.
Yeah, it's a character for whom Mr. Dini has a strong affinity. He's come back to her many times, as the fact that there's enough here to fill an omnibus illustrates.
Mm-hmm. Yep, one of the few characters that crossed over with Batman the Animated Series in its original form. So, yep, it was like that and Etrigan the Demon are like the only two that I can really think of off the top of my head that made their way over that weren't typical Batman characters. So, yep. Page 49/144 for that. And then JLA Book 3, Morrison, Devin Grayson, and Mark Miller are the writers on this one, with art by Howard Porter, Phil Jimenez, Mark Pajarillo, and others. So that's issues of DC 1 million in there, hence why there's a whole bunch of different creators on that. So this actually collects DC 1 million 1 through 4, a whole bunch of the DC 1 million stuff, as well as JLA 24 through 26. And then even some Secret Files and Origins stuff in there as well from JLA, and then JLA Titans 1 through 3 thrown in there for good measure.
Yep, which was a pretty good miniseries. Not mentioned that often these days, but it was written by Devin K. Grayson with the Jimenez art, and it featured pretty much everybody to date who had ever been a Titan.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then Christopher Miller's JLA A League of One gets a deluxe edition here. I don't even really remember this one, to be honest with you. But the Justice League will die in battle against a dragon. It is prophesized. Featuring what the future holds, Wonder Woman must defeat the JLA and slay the dragon single-handedly, or risk its fated demise becoming a reality. So check that out here in JLA A League of One on page 50/145. Then for the reprints and other smaller stuff in here, we get DC Finest Batman: A Death in the Family there on page 51/146. The full Death in the Family arc there. Some Ostrander Suicide Squad getting its Volume 2 omnibus on the following page. And some old school Teen Titans of two varieties. Jeff Johns Compendium and the Bronze Age omnibus there on page 52/147. Yep. And just like that, that concludes DC.
Or does it?
What? Oh, wait. There's more. Yes.
Post-credit scene.
Yeah. Superman/Spider-Man issue 1 getting its full solicitation here. This is going to be on sale on March 25th. And I love how they were like, yeah, we're going to have our first crossover in years. It's going to be Batman and Deadpool, because you've really been waiting for those two to cross over. And then they went all out.
Well, it's an anniversary year for the first meeting between these two characters, which is also the first meetings between any Marvel and DC characters, come down to it.
Yep.
So it's kind of like 50 years of Marvel and DC crossovers. And yeah, they just kind of threw all kinds of great creators at this one. So written by Mark Waid, Tom King, Matt Fraction, Sean G. Murphy, Gail Simone, Christopher Priest, Greg Rucka, and Jeff Lemire. Art by Jorge Jimenez, Jim Lee, Steve Lieber, Sean G. Murphy again, Belen Ortega, Daniel Semper, Nicholas Scott, and Rafa Sandoval.
Oh, mwah. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
Man, gotta frickin' love it.
Yep. And if you read the fine print, wow.
Yeah.
Just to read the specifics of what the stories are actually about.
The last son of Krypton meets your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. When journalists Clark Kent and Peter Parker find themselves chasing the same story, the conspiracy they uncover could change the world, especially if Brainiac and Doc Ock have anything to say about it. And we bet they do. Good thing our intrepid news hounds are secretly Superman and the Amazing Spider-Man. What? Brought to you. Gesundheit. Brought to you by legendary storytellers Mark Waid and Jorge Jimenez. And don't miss these bonus stories. Tom King and Jim Lee tell a tale of Lois Lane and Mary Jane Watson. Yes, thank you very much. Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber revisit Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen and Carnage. Sean Murphy takes us to the future with Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes and Spider-Man 2099.
Huh?
Gail Simone and Belen Ortega look for what happens when Power Girl meets Punisher. Christopher Priest and Daniel Sampier show us the time Superboy Prime, who reads all the comics, decided to visit Spider-Man right after he got the black suit. Love it.
Oh, I think Chris's head might explode.
Oh, yeah. And Greg Rucka and Nicholas Scott take us on an exciting race between the Daily Planet and the Daily Bugle. Plus, we finally get to answer the age-old question of who would win in a fair fight, Pa Kent or Uncle Ben. Just kidding, those guys are too nice to fight each other, but Jeff Lemire and Rafa Sandoval will take us deep into the past to see these two men bond in the face of adversity.
Yes, Jeff Lemire is exactly the right guy to write that story.
Yep, you're damn right about that. Whew.
Wow, that's
Man.
not a clinker in the bunch. That's going to be great. Well worth the $8.
Absolutely. And a reminder, this is just the DC crossover. we've still got the Marvel one to come, and the Marvel one I know has some damn fine creators attached to it as well. I don't know if it's solicited this month. We're about to find out, but either way, there will be a Spider-Man/Superman one shot to go along with this Superman/Spider-Man one shot. So. And let's see, anything else here? No, just a whole bunch of covers. There we go. Okay, great. So we will stop here at Drawn and Quarterly to make a deviation over to said Marvel Comics. And in Marvel Comics, this is, just a random old issue of it. It just happens to be issue 52 of the Marvel catalog here for books set to ship in March. And after they advertise a whole bunch of things, we get the second issue of Chip Zdarsky's Wolverine Weapons of Armageddon, issue 2 there by Luca Maresca on page 1 of said catalog. And then we get Chip Zdarsky again with Captain America, issue 8, as the hunt for salvation on the road to Armageddon is also found here on the second page of the catalog. And then Jerry Duggan and Mark Buckingham bring us a 5-issue Wonder Man miniseries. Mark Buckingham drawing Wonder Man. That is awesome.
Yeah. Something I didn't know I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And here he is here on page 4. Lights, camera, superhero action. Simon Williams has had his ups and downs, from being manipulated into villainy by the Enchantress to being one of the brightest stars in the Avengers. But just like Hollywood, no matter how low the lows, Simon keeps fighting the good fight. But what happens when the past finally catches up to him? Enter Randolph Chancellor, Simon's former cellmate. Yep.
What does that make us? Absolutely nothing.
Yep. Love it.
A true love letter to L.A. as well as the history of Wonder Man. Sounds good to me.
It does indeed. And by then, considering we're only a week away from the Wonder Man series coming out on Disney+, that'll have long since been out, since this is coming out in March. But either way, still happy to see a Wonder Man miniseries of any sort gracing the shelves from Marvel.
Yes, and even though this was obviously greenlit to sort of tie into the aforementioned Disney Plus series, I'm glad that the creators aren't feeling pressured to make this thing tie in any significant way to said Disney Plus. Just let it be the Wonder Man of the Marvel Comics universe. And
amen to that. Yep. Now, page 6, we already talked about Daredevil #1 and Stephanie Phillips and Lee Garbett. So clearly this is a resolicit of that in some form. But either way, Stephanie Phillips and Lee Garbett, Daredevil #1, brand new era for Daredevil begins here on page 6. Hopefully it's just straight up beginning this point and we don't have to talk about it again. All right. But here's something huge. Paul Jenkins returns to the Sentry for the first time in what feels like a century. Christian Rosado on the artwork chores 4-issue Sentry mini from the man who created the character on page 10 here.
Yep, it's just a tiny bit late to tie it into the Thunderbolts Asterisk movie, but who cares? We'll take it whenever we can get it.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, I'm sure he'll still be showing up in the upcoming, Avengers movies that are happening in the not too distant future as well. So, it's well worth it. And the character of the century, Marvel had the bright idea to basically kill him off right before Thunderbolts came out. So now he's back. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Pick up this comic if you only know the character from the movie. Learn firsthand that he's more than just a guy named Bob.
Absolutely, yep. And then track down the trade paperback of his original run, because those are some great comic books. They, through retro continuity, there's some great Silver Age fun going on in those issues. So, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember what a big deal that was when it came out. It was during the early days of Joe Quesada's tenure as editor-in-chief, and they were playing it up as if this were a real lost Marvel character from decades past.
Yep.
As Quesada himself said, he likes himself a good hoax, and that's basically what they were building with this. But the end result of it was a solid Marvel character that has stood the test of time.
Absolutely. Yep. Superman, but incredibly, incredibly damaged. That's on page 10 there. And on page 12, Avengers issue 36, as Jed MacKay gets closer and closer to the conclusion of his Avengers run. Issues 36, this is actually the end of his run, and it's shocking. Brings his run to a shocking end. 3 years of dark mysteries, epic quests, and cosmos-shattering battles come to a head in his giant-sized can't-miss final issue. And he is continuing on X-Men, last I checked. So it's not like Jed MacKay's going anywhere anytime soon in the Marvel Universe. But 3 years is certainly a run for the Avengers, to say the least.
Yeah. These days, it's a pretty respectable run for any creator on any book.
Mm-hmm. That's on page 12 and 13 there. And then on page 14... that Mark Buckingham, he really gets around, huh?
Yes, it's popping up multiple places at Marvel, of all places, within a single month. Yes, he and writer Dan Slott bringing us Fantastic Four First Foes #1, apparently the first in a series of one-shots set in the movie continuity of Earth 828, the Pedro Pascal and Company cinematic version of the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they took it on the Mad Thinker.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that if this is going to be part of a series of one-shots set in this world, maybe I'll just trade wait and read them all at once. But this, Chris and Chris felt more vehemently than I did by far that this movie was a little bit of a disappointment. I liked certain things about it, and I'm sure that I will like those things even more in the creative hands of Slott and Buckingham. I think I'll enjoy reading about them more than I did watching them on the big screen.
Yep, and I'm already looking forward to they've put out a bunch of the small teaser trailers, which will then lead up to the actual trailer for Avengers coming out during the Super Bowl. But one of the ones they put out were these titular Fantastic Four meeting the Wakandans, and that is immediately the nerd in me, like a very, very happy man. Ben Grimm reaching his hand out to meet to shake M'Baku's hand was well worth it. So,
wow.
Yep. Fantastic Four First Foes issue 1 here, available on page 14. And talk about returns. Alias Red Band. This is on page 15 here. Not Brian Michael Bendis, I want to point out. Sam Humphries. Yep. But that's not a bad thing, because I think that if anyone could manage to capture the correct feel of this, Sam Humphries is one of my favorite newer writers that Marvel's been employing. So him, along with Geraldo Borges, and a gorgeous cover by David Mack to send up the original Alias series. I'm down. I want to see how this rolls here. So. First Jessica Jones book to actually be called Alias in many, many years. So page 15 here, Alias Red Band, issues 1 of 5.
Wow. Yeah, that's an interesting point. They've been just calling her stuff Jessica Jones for the most part lately.
Exactly. Yeah.
I guess to cross promote with the Jessica Jones titled series that was on Disney Plus for a while.
Yeah. Well, this is 25 years of Alias in general. So I think that's why they brought the name back. And they did stick the Jessica Jones up top on the cover itself. So I'm sure in marketing they'll probably still use that, but I'm glad they're going with Alias here. It's a nice time.
But that's a good way to have the cake and eat it too, as it were.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cover all the branding bases.
Yep. I have a whole bunch of trades on my shelf that say Jessica Jones Alias, and they're all the original Alias, issues from back in the day that Bendis wrote. So, page 15 for that. And on we go to a new era of X-Men with a lot of the same creators involved, a couple of new ones thrown in there for good measure. X-Men United #1. Welcome to Gray Matter Lane in the Shadows of Tomorrow on page 16 and 17 here in X-Men United issue 1. Build a school, Xavier told them, and the X-Men have done so, but in a matter nobody saw coming. Welcome to Gray Matter Lane, a place where mutants anywhere in the world can come together in unity to teach one another the skills needed for their survival, with instructors including Wolverine, Beast, Prodigy, Magneto, and more, and a campus unlike any before seen. It's the crossroads of the X-Universe as a student body from across the globe work to take mutant kind to the next step in their evolution and to cope with a brewing threat to all of their number. Welcome back to school. Page 17 here. It's about time.
Yeah, we knew it was just a matter of time, and now the time has come.
The time has come, indeed. Ashley Allen and Eduardo Audino bring us Moonstar. Moonstar getting a 5-issue mini here on page 18. Death awaits Danny Moonstar. I'm sure she'll be fine. But Ashley Allen wrote the Magic series that came out not too long ago, and now she gets her hands on Danny Moonstar here, so... nice to see a character that doesn't always get the spotlight getting a 5-issue mini out of Marvel, and that's a character like Moonstar for you there. So page 18 for that. Get the second issue of the Magic and Colossus miniseries, as we pointed out last month. This is quite literally the first time something has happened that should have happened, 25 years ago. So I'm happy to see they're finally getting a miniseries, brother and sister here on page 22.
Yes. Their sibling relationship needs a little room to breathe and grow.
Yes, it does.
If I could we go back up for a second there to the Rogue #3 of 5. I guess the first issue of that miniseries should be coming out pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give it a very serious look, but now that I see that it's got Rogue in the third issue battling the Constrictor and Project Pegasus is involved. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden I'm sitting up and paying attention.
It's like now you have my attention. Yep. Excellent. Yep. Page. That's issue 3 of 5 there of the Rogue mini on page 22. And the Constrictor is one of my favorite B villains. He's always a good time. Like when he showed up in She-Hulk back in the day.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like he sued Hercules after Hercules beat the piss out of him. And
mm-hmm. Yep, and he had a short time there where he was reformed too, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah. Eventually, we learn about him that he was originally a SHIELD agent who went undercover as a villain, but had a nervous breakdown and became a villain for real.
Yep. Ooh, Storm Earth's Mightiest Mutant issue 2 of 5 here has the first ever comic book appearance in 616 of the Femme Inheritor of the Power Cosmic, Blood of Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, Galacta.
I want to say she made her first ever appearance in comics, period, during one of the assistant editors events several years ago.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep. Well, page 24 brings us that, and any of you Galactus or Galacta fans will be down with that.
Mm-hmm. And I just enjoy Muriwa Ayodele's storm work in general, so glad that we've got this Earth's Mightiest Mutant miniseries to give us 5 more issues of that.
Yeah. I also...
one of those creators that knows how to grab just oddball little ideas from the dusty corners of Marvel history and just tossing it out there.
Absolutely. I'm also down for Boom Boom being front and center at any point, and she is here on page 25 in Glorious X-Force issue 3. Boom Boom is one of Cable's most trusted allies. Or is she? A mission into secret space, into a secret safe house reveals a startling seed of doubt. But can X-Force close in on their killer before their own assassin catches up with them? You'll find that out. Tim Seeley, Michael Santa Maria, that is, on page 25. I'm going to do that every single time I see the star, but I will then correct myself on page 25. 25th issue. Hey, it's just a 25th issue or something, and it's naturally so. All right, then.
It's a miracle.
I know. Watch. Give them 3 more issues. It'll be issue 700 or something. But special anniversary issue of X-Men here. Battle spreads across the globe as the Uncanny X-Men face the Legion of Monsters. Thank you, Gail Simone.
Yes, Gail Simone, that is a wonderful idea for a story. I'd just like to see Legion of Monsters popping up anywhere or fighting anybody. But, unfortunately, 32 pages, $5.99. It's not that special.
But it's special enough to have the Manphibian in it. I mean, come on.
That is pretty rare. I have to agree there. But still.
I know.
There's no reason for that to be $6. I mean, maybe it's a 40-page issue and that's just a misprint, or maybe it's 32 pages, $4.99. But if it really is 32 pages for $5.99, I have to call foul on that, even if the Legion of Monsters are involved.
Completely agree. Speaking of Jed McKay, as I did previously, page 28 brings us part 1 of his Danger Room arc. Jed McKay and Netho Diaz. Cascading crises hit the X-Men at the worst possible time, splitting them up across the globe to deal with shocking and unexpected difficulties. They just got back together. Come on, guys. From a ghost ship in international waters to a maximum security prison in Europe to the blood-stained streets of Merle, Alaska, the X-Men face an unseen foe unlike any they've experienced.
All right, and as you foretold, Ian, it's Jed McKay jumping straight from A to X.
Absolutely. Yep. McKay has been on the X-Men since this first issue, continues here, and ain't going anywhere soon from the looks of it. There on page 29, we get X-Men issue 27. So part 2 of that. We're also on the death spiral of Spider-Man / Venom as we count down to Amazing Spider-Man 1000. Good old legacy numbering, baby. Yeah. Shocked by the sinister symbiote. Amazing Spider-Man number 23 for that. Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness. That's on page, what page number are they calling that? Page 32 there. And then on page 33, The Secret is Out. Death Spiral Part 3, Venom number 255. Death Spiral also in Amazing Spider-Man number 24 by Charles Soule and Jesus Saez. Carnage meets its match? No, he doesn't.
No, he meets some guy named Torment.
Yeah, and Torment looks a lot like Onomatopoeia, the Kevin Smith villain.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yep. All right. And then part 5 in Amazing Spider-Man number 25, which brings us straight up to issue 990 of Amazing Spider-Man. That's, once again, Kelly and McGuinness there on page 35. Ultimate Wolverine gets its 15th issue. Ultimate Endgame gets its 4th of 5th issues as Spider-Man meets its maker. That's on page 36 and 37. And Captain America versus Red Skull, a.k.a. Bucky, in Ultimates number 22. Yeah, Bucky got the short end of the stick in the Ultimates universe, to say the least.
Yeah. That's certainly different, but the unexpected is not always good.
So far, Denise Camp has been doing a damn good job on Ultimate, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. But yeah, that's a bit extreme, I feel like. Very, very 90s in its execution. Page 38 for Ultimates 22, and then Ultimates 23 on the following page 39. Godzilla Infinity Roar, issue 2 of 5. Galactus's Hunger versus Godzilla's Appetite for Destruction. I'm here for it, baby. Page 40. That's yes. Just thank you. Yes.
The Cosmic Adventures of Godzilla. Now check out that cover of Galactus battling King Ghidorah.
Ooh, man, oh man, oh man, so good. And then the cover on the next page is just as damn nice. Like it's got the old school like character bubbles that you found in comics back in the day. Oh, so good. All right, Jigsaw's back in Punisher number 2 on page 43. There, Benjamin Percy and Jose Luis Suarez. That is one Jigsaw-looking man. I'll tell you what. And Iron Man number 3, Joshua Williamson and Carmine Carnero. Iron Man versus MODOK and Date Night. I'm going to enjoy this series.
Yeah, nice. It's built to be enjoyed.
And so is MODOK. Not really, no, but
No, he's designed only for killing.
oh, that's what that stands for. Okay, all right, I got it. Okay, I thought he was designed only for kiting, as in like flying a kite.
Yes, right. He's an avid pilot.
Yes, clearly. Logan, Black, White, and Blood, issue 3 of 4 by Noto there on page 46. And we'll go down a little bit more into this. New Avengers, issue 10. Is it Thunderbolt? Is it New Avengers? It's both in one on page 50. Who is the Shadow Boss? It's not Shadow King, we swear. It's someone else.
Ooh.
Yeah, page 51. Welcome back, Dan Abnett, to Cosmic Marvel.
Yep, and it's a series called Imperial Guardians, and it features Gamora, Captain Marvel, that would be the Carol Danvers version, Amadeus Cho, who is still hulking it, I guess, Darkhawk, so here's another moment when we wish Raph were with us, and Cosmic Ghost Rider. So some more cosmic leftovers kind of thrown together, which was pretty much what Abnett and Lanning's original Guardians of the Galaxy concept was. And here's kind of take 2, different group thrown together, and they are recruited by Maximus the Mad, insane brother of Black Bolt. Their mission, protect the delicate balance of the new galactic union by any means necessary, and failure is not an option.
I love that Cosmic Ghost Rider is Frank Castle.
This is all still kind of in the future for me, so I don't know exactly how Cosmic Ghost Rider is able to be Frank Castle, but I guess I was aware in the back of my mind that is whose consciousness, or a copy of whose consciousness, is animating that flaming skull there.
Yeah, but Raph's definitely pre-ordered 12 copies of this, and Darkhawk. So good times. This is going to be a lot of fun here on page 51. Then on page 53, we get the 4th and final issue of Victor Laval's Black Panther Intergalactic Planetary Intergalactic, with Stefano Nessi there on the artwork chores. Page 53. Stegman bringing us a X-Men annual. For any of you annual fans, you are getting your fix here on page 54, with artwork by Steve Scroce, Ryan Stegman, Sanford Green, and others. When an all-new mutant menace known as Creationist forces 4 artists to visualize monsters that tear through reality, the X-Men must survive an attack where imagination itself becomes the enemy. Imagination. Now they have to stop the Creationist before his nightmare vision consumes the world in an epic issue featuring several superstar guest artists.
My only complaint here is that it's not longer. It's only your standard 32-page comic. Annual like this deserves to be blown up to at least 48. Give those superstar guest artists some more room to work.
I hope the name of the creationist is R. Jan Stegman, because that just self-insert entirely. Like clearly we know it's like that Bugs Bunny issue with the giant eraser. Like that's what's going on here.
Yeah, ain't he a stinker?
Yep. Page 54, X-Men Annual number 1.
And then on page 55, we've got all-out Iceman action from writer and artist Luciano Vecchio. It was an online Infinity comic originally, apparently, and now all 56 pages of it is appearing in print for the first time as old Bobby Drake is ready to reach his true potential as an Omega-level mutant.
Yep. Can I say just how much I really dig that costume? Like it is so different than the way he usually looks iced up, but I dig it. I really do. Like the emblem on the chest and the X's on the legs. Like it really works for him.
Yep, he's been needing a little bit of accessorization, and I think this design provides it. Nobody's going to mistake him for the Silver Surfer now.
Yeah, absolutely not. Or that crystal member of the that guy who was made of crystal. That I think it was a Starjammer at one point.
Wait, you're thinking of Martin X of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's what it is. Yes. Okay. Yep. Yeah. All those crystal people look alike to me. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Don't get us started on Crystar, Crystal Warrior.
Oh boy. Whoa. I won't. I promise I won't. Page 55 for that. And page 56, apparently Thor gets around. The son of Thor! This is the story of the son of Thor and the day his great heart broke. Aww. Well, the mortal Thor continues there on page 56.
Oh, yes.
And, I know we talked about this last issue, but I'm just going to reiterate here. Ryan North literally created this just so Humberto Ramos could draw Malice. Like, we know it. We absolutely do. But I don't even care. This is absolutely worth checking out here on page 57. Galactus meets the Malice of the Invincible Woman. Love it. Yep. Not just the Invisible Woman, the Invincible Woman.
Right.
Page 57. And Hulk Smash Everything reaches its 4th issue. Just gaze at this cover and the wonder of it all. Like, wonderful, wonderful Adam Kubert artwork there. Damn fine. All right. Get down further into a very important untold story back in print for the first time in years. I own the original of this in my collection. But Phoenix, the Untold Story by Chris Claremont and John Byrne, penciled by John Byrne, essentially how the Dark Phoenix saga was originally going to end, the originally made version of it, including the first page of what would have been the next issue at the very end there, just so you could get a basic idea of where they were potentially going with that. And why is this back in print? Well, fan fiction, but we're going to get to that when it's solicited, and we can talk about it in a future previews. But Phoenix, the Untold Story, number 1 here, Chris Claremont, John Byrne, facsimile edition in full. That's on page 64 of the Marvel catalog. And 65, classic Silver Surfer issue 1, Stan Lee and John Buscema.
The origin of the Surfer, which was one of the early sticking points in the relationship between Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Kirby basically just wanted him to be power incarnate, and then Stan decided, he was a guy on an alien planet.
One of the many times that I agree with Stan Lee. There's a back and forth, and there's plenty of stuff that Kirby created. This was a actual collaboration, I felt like, where the bits and pieces that Kirby used and the bits and pieces that Stan used made a full character, and that's absolutely the case.
It is an excellent illustrative example of how important the 1/3 that Stan Lee brought to the table was. It's making the Marvel Universe and its characters what they were.
Absolutely. That's on page 65 there. And then page 66 brings us the fifth and final issue of JMS's 1776. So if you're waiting for that to be collected, that'll be available soon. And so will Jimmy Palmiotti's Daredevil Punisher Devil's Trigger. That's also concluding this month on page 66. And the lovely name Dungeons of Doom by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Benjamin Piercy reaches its third and final issue on page 67. Doom Secrets Exposed! And Planet of the Apes versus Fantastic Four. Chris Eberly, you're welcome, gets its second of 5 here on page 69 by Josh Trujillo and Andrea DeVito.
Yeah, so some members of the Planet of the Apes cast of characters acquire the FF superpowers.
Love it. Love
Not
every
just
single
a
minute.
mashup cover. That actually happens in the story.
Gotta love it. And Benjamin Percy on the next page, page 70, with Matabek Musabekov, bring you a new Darth Maul miniseries starting off here. A pulpy, exciting prequel series set before the events of the upcoming Disney Plus show, which will be coming soon. As Janix, a neon-lit, shadow-soaked maze of a planet that lies beyond the reach of the Empire, Captain Brander Lawson is doing his best to navigate the law in a lawless territory. He's joined by his partner, a droid named Two Boots, as they face off against scheming crime bosses and as the looming threat of Shadow Lord Maul nears. So, Star Wars Shadow of Maul by Benjamin Piercy here on page 70. Comics Giveaway Day, not at all associated with Free Comic Book Day, even though it's happening on the same day and everybody's going to not be able to know the difference. Alien, Predator, and Planet of the Apes gets a free comic. So does Spidey and His Amazing Friends. And we're also getting Amazing Spider-Man number 1000 / Queen in Black number 1, previewing what that story is going to be like. And Armageddon / X-Men number 1, with Avengers and X-Men in this particular book by Chip Zdarsky and Jed McKay. Does that mean Chip Zdarsky is going to be taking over Avengers? Because I really hope that's the case.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be very interesting indeed. But your first look at the summer's big X-Men event, and Doom! Can't get enough Doom! You want more Doom? We'll give you more Doom!
I feel like we've had enough Doom, actually.
No, more Doom! As much Doom as you could possibly fit in the room. More Doom that can fit in the hallway. All the Doom you can fit in the planet. That's what we're going to get.
Have it your way, Marvel.
I know.
Make an early snarky remark about the title of this event, though. DC already did it.
Yes, they did. Yeah. Now, if it had been Carmageddon, that would have been different. But,
Sure. That would have just been different enough.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's head over to a very important X-Men Legends that's being released here. Sorry, Star Wars Legends that's being released. The newspaper strips of Star Wars in full omnibus hardcover. Russ Manning, Archie Goodwin, and Rick Hoberg. And the artwork by Russ Manning himself, Alfredo Alcala, Al Williamson, Alan Nunes, and Rick Hoberg. This collects the early adventures of classic Star Wars, as well as Han Solo at Star's End, classic Star Wars 1 through 20, classic Star Wars A New Hope 1 through 2, classic Star Wars The Vandalheim Mission number 1. That sounds like something that George Costanza would do. And Star Wars newspaper strips in full as well. So, whole bunch of classic Star Wars, because it's called Classic Star Wars on page 76. And a Ultraman omnibus on the next page for all the many different Ultraman books that Kyle Higgins and various others have been working on, all collected in one hardcover there on page 77.
Including a couple of miniseries all the way back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Nice to see. All right. We're on the Nocenti and Ramita Jr. Omnibus Volume 2 here of Daredevil. So that collects a whole bunch of Daredevil from 267 to 291, annuals 5 and 6, an arc of Spectacular Spider-Man, issues 213 to 214, and material from Marvel Comics Presents 109 through 116, 123 to 130, and 150 to 151, and the Marvel Holiday Special 1991, issue 2, which I'm still pretty sure, if it's the same holiday special, may very well be one of the first comics that I picked up off a rack. Because I don't consider it my first comic. That I still consider to be Uncanny X-Men issue 300. But if it is that particular special, yep, it is. Yep, because it's got Santa running away from a whole bunch of Marvel characters. I think I might have picked it up in reprint, to be honest with you. Yeah. But or it was just randomly on the like newsstand long after it came out. But I definitely bought this thing back in the day and read through it many, many times. So page 79 there. Remember, Claremont had an X-Men story there as they were shopping in New York. Yep.
Yeah, I do remember a Daredevil Christmas story told from the point of view of a little toy sheep.
Yes.
That Daredevil bought, and so I think we're thinking of the same story then.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you better believe it. Absolutely. X-Men Age of Revelation Overture trade paperback, page 81. This gets the full Age of Revelation started here for the many, many, many books that they included in that. You also get Book of Revelation on the next page. So Overture and the actual Book of Revelation, 81 and 82. And then World of Revelation on page 83. First trade of Mortal Thor there on page 84, if you're waiting for trade on Al Ewing's bold new take on Thor. And let's get to the end of it here. Star Wars Visions trade paperback. Well worth checking out here. A whole bunch of Japanese creators take on the Star Wars franchises. Takashi Okazaki, Aki Yanagi, and Pichi Momoko herself, all involved with this Star Wars Visions book on page 90. Very pretty visuals, to say the least. And then 91 brings us Venom, Black, White, and Blood. He do like the blood. Yes.
We got to stop and mention this.
Of course we do. Yep. Uncle Scrooge, Earth's Mightiest Duck. Page 96 for that one. Yep. Come on, it's Jason Aaron writing Uncle Scrooge. Like, what the hell?
And quite a... really got their ducks in a row as far as the artists, too.
Ha-ha! Nice. Yep. For once it was you and not me.
Yes. Be good to your waitresses.
Yes. Try the veal. It's delicious. That's there on page 96. And we'll close things out here with a Bill Mantlo and Joe Duffy Incredible Hulk Epic Collection. This is Devolution, Volume 11 of the Incredible Hulk Epic Collections. Pencils by the likes of Sal Buscema and Rick Leonardi, Rich Buckler, Frank Miller himself, and Mark Gruenwald. Collecting Incredible Hulk 263 to 279, Annuals 10 and 11, and Incredible Hulk versus Quasimodo, number 1. Okay.
From 1983.
Yeah.
I wonder what prompted that.
Damn,
if it's one of those like Radio Shack giveaways.
That's a possibility. Yeah. But page 99 for that epic collection there. And that finishes out Marvel. All right. Let's head ourselves over to IDW, shall we? Right. And in IDW, no, I do not need an AI assistant. Thank you very much, Adobe. Let's, yeah, I know. Gene Lin Yang and Freddie Williams II bring us issue 16 of their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on page 2 of the IDW catalog. It's Ujigami versus Casey Jones in this particular issue here. Got to support Freddie E. Williams, absolutely, for his gorgeous artwork, and finally getting to be on a mainline Turtles book. So checking that out there on page 2. And then Ninja Turtles X Godzilla number 5. That Lizard sure gets around on page 3. All right. Let's get further down. Mention Ninja Turtles Morning Adventures number 35. While the other TMNT and allies fight off old Hobbs invading army of automatons, Donatello has made his way to the Pantheon's flying fortress, hoping to find an edge against the extraterrestrial incursion. Too bad for Donnie, you almost never find smooth sailing in the 3rd chapter of a trilogy. So that's what we're getting here in the 3rd and final part of this particular story arc on page 7 of the Saturday Morning Adventures, issue 35. As we get further along in here, Godzilla versus America, Portland. Yeah. He's going state by state, and he's ruining everything. That's what he's doing.
Now he's finding his way back to familiar territory, back to the Pacific coast. And he's wrecking the stomping grounds of creators Colleen Coover, Mark Russell, and Caitlin Yarsky, and various artists.
Yep. Yeah. Mark Russell's involved. You know it's going to be damn fun. So do check that out there on page 13. And Godzilla vs. America, Los Angeles.
Yep, they're starting to re-release these Godzilla vs. America one-shots with like 4 extra pages each, but in a hardcover form. So if you didn't buy it for like $5.99 the first time, you can buy it for $12.99 now.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful 56 pages for $12.99. That's a, but it's a hardcover, so they can get away with it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't exactly get it.
I know. Yep.
If you want to like group them all together, publish them bound as a single volume in hardcover for a lot more than $12.99, that makes more sense to me. But just republishing a one-shot just with a cloth-bound cover, and jacking up the price by several dollars, I don't get that.
And we all damn well know they're going to, so that's beside the point. But yeah, if you do want to check this out, find the original edition. But if you can't, you've got Gabe Hardman on this. You've got Jordan Morris. You've got Jay Gonzo, not the Muppet. Dave Baker. Nicole Ju. Like a whole bunch of great creators there on page 14. I promise it's not the Muppet. And then, Chicago, they're doing the same damn thing. Ryan Brown, Mike Costa, Tim Seeley, Ezra Daniels, Caroline Cash, there on page 16.
And once more with actually 2 more times with feeling, because we've got Boston here, and Kansas City's a little further down.
Yep. Great. Check them out if you're interested. We're moving on. All right. Kaisei's 9th issue there on page 22 of the new style of Godzilla, and then Starship Godzilla. If you didn't get enough Space Godzilla from Marvel, you can get even more of it here on page 23. And down we go into The Exorcism at Buckingham Palace. What a frickin' name. Hannah Rose May and Kelsey Ramsey are behind this as IDW Dark continues to beef up their slate of original horror titles, according to Entertainment Weekly. This brings us, first it was America, now England. It's 5 a.m. at 10 Downing Street. The Prime Minister gets a call that bolts him upright out of bed. The royal family has been lost at sea. Parliament and Buckingham Palace explode with action in the aftermath. Some suspect the prince and his wife, the princess, were attacked. Others whisper their tragedy was a result of a long-standing family curse. Either way, Playboy and recovering addict Theo Belmont is next in line for the throne. Can he step up to the role? No, he can't.
No.
So, King Ralph, but dark. That's what we have here. The Exorcism at Buckingham Palace, issue 1 on page 28.
Yes. Very good deep cut reference there, Ian.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Those of you who have never heard of King Ralph, look it up, watch it, and then be sad that you watched it. It's a stupid movie, but it's a lot of fun. Lock and Key get a IDW Classic Collections here. Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez's Classic gets recollected in a 6-volume series, transformed into 3 convenient pocket-size editions. So pocket-size Lock and Key available for you there on page 32. Do check it out, and I also recommend the Netflix series. All right. Star Trek Lower Decks IDW Classics. So, yep. Bringing you a big fun adventure on a big fun ship wherein Dr. Tiana saves the crew from a virulent purple boil disease that is sure to... Wait, no. Everyone's cured pretty quickly, actually. So this is, again, well worth checking out here on page 36. Love me some Lower Decks.
Mm-hmm. So if you missed this the first time around, it's being reprinted at $1.99, so you can try it out for an even lower price.
Mm-hmm. Same with the Rocketeer issue 1 by Dave Stevens. That's being given the $1.99 treatment as well there on page 37. And very, very Shatner on Star Trek The Last Starship issue 6 with a cover by Francesco Francavilla. Artwork there on the inside by Adrian Bonilla, and Kelly and Lanzig on the artwork chores, page 38 there. Love this cover for Tim Sheridan's Star Trek Lower Decks issue 17 here. Welcome Tim Sheridan to the fold, and yes, love the send up here to old school Atari action right there.
Mm-hmm. Space Invaders.
Yep. Star Trek Lower Decks issue 17 on page 39. And in we go to Top Shelf. The Shadower. Story and art by Maria Hoey and Peter Hoey. Readers will lose themselves in a surreal spy thriller and may find it impossible to find themselves again. Interesting. Nadia is a quiet drama student in a country divided by a brutal civil war. Amid the steady tension of armed men, checkpoints, and random violence, the theater is her one escape. One evening after an Ibsen performance, she's given the opportunity to serve her people. Nadia bears a strong resemblance to a waitress in the next district whose cafe is frequented by enemy agents. Would she be willing to take her place for a week and plant recording devices? Sure, but yeah, bad things are going to wind up going down if you do that, because this is a spy.
Probably.
Yep. So, The Shadower here on page 42 by Maria Hoey and Peter Hoey out of Top Shelf. And in Valiant, Black, White, and Bloodshot. Azzarello, Guggenheim, Seeley on page 44 there. Now collected into one epic hardcover for mature readers. It's a anthology series with Bloodshot. Need I say more?
Oh, yes, and that classic black, white, and red color scheme.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that finishes out IDW, and we'll head over to Boom real quick. And at Boom this month.
And they're leading off with chibi-style Baby Garfield.
Yes. The world was asking for it, and now there's more Orange Cat in your life. Orange Cat and Lasagna. Find out the origins of Orange Cat and Lasagna here. Grace Ellis and Michael Northrop, Asia Simone and Rob Justice. Page 2 of that catalog.
4-issue miniseries of tiny Garfield adventures.
Yep. Apparently there was going to be a new Garfield animated series, but it's been canned before it was even announced over at Nickelodeon. So don't know if that'll ever wind up seeing the light of day.
Mm-hmm. And was that series supposed to be about Baby Garfield or just about regular Garfield?
Regular Garfield. I'm assuming it was probably supposed to be CGI, considering the last couple of movies.
Sure.
But yeah, they are not going forward with that. Last I heard. That's there on page 2. And the Comics Giveaway Day, Garfield, bundle of 20. Obviously, you're not going to get 20 comics. You can just order them as 20 if you are a shop, but it's free. It's Garfield. It's some Mark Evanier Garfield, for that matter, along with Grace Ellis and Michael Northrup and Scott Nickel. That there on page 5. And Something is Killing the Children. Something is Killing the Children. Road to Slaughter on page 6 here. That's another one of the not Free Comic Book Day, we swear, giveaways. It's Comics Giveaway Day. Shut up. That's what it's called. My favorite of the bunch here, Gem and the Holograms and My Little Pony together as one, bringing back the Katie Cook My Little Pony days in flipbook form for free, along with Kelly Thompson's Gem and the Holograms, with Sophie Campbell and Andy Price on the illustrations. Good stuff indeed.
For sure.
Yep. And Power Rangers also gets some free action there on page 8. We then get the final issue of Mary Sue by Megan Fitzmartin and Lisa Sturl. Reality versus fanfic. It all ends here. So if you're waiting to see what the reaction, what the final fate is of your Mary Sues, you'll find that there on page 9. And James Tynion IV, The Woods, gets a book 1 there, collecting 1 through 12 of that series there on page 10.
It's about a New England prep school that gets mysteriously transplanted to an alien planet.
Mm-hmm.
And what the students and faculty do to survive once they land there.
Yep. Salvation Run meets Saved by the Bell. Okay, maybe not.
No, I like it. That's a pretty serviceable high concept, actually.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Cantwell's Briar Knight's Terror, issue 3, there on page 12. That one's still a-rolling. You get the final issue of Last Day of H.P. Lovecraft by Romuald Jalivo and Jacob Rebelka there on page 13. Sorry if I butchered your names, but at least I tried. And let's see, anything else running and rolling worth mentioning here? Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers 3 here. Ryan Parrott and Vincenzo Federici gets its 5th and final issue there on page 17. And then the follow-up trade on that very next page, page 18, collects the whole damn thing in one package. The Legion Rangers, the Legion Ravager, that is, arrives in Power Rangers Prime issue 15 there on page 19. And VR Troopers gets a softcover. Words I never thought I'd be able to say, but it happened. The full trade of this VR Troopers mini, all 6 issues of it there for you on page 21. And then Minor Arcana, Jeff Lemire's ongoing, written and drawn by him there on page 15. Issue 15 on page 22. And that concludes the Boom catalog. Let's head things over to Dark Horse real quick. Okay. Dark Horse almost eluded me, as the place I usually get my listings didn't actually have them, but lo and behold, here they be.
Yep, and they're a whole month ahead of everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Frankenstein New World, The Speed of Darkness, Mignola and Christopher Golden. Called by Liz Sherman in visions to save the new world, Frankenstein and Lila begin using Vril energy to try and find her. But the Earth is being corrupted by a parasitic and powerful evil. The time to stop it is running out. Frankenstein New World, The Speed of Darkness, number 1 on page 2 of their catalog. But then page 3, Hellboy in Love, Black Guy's one-shot. It's Hellboy, and he's in love. It's a BPRD reunion as well, with Mignola and Golden there as the writers, with Alex Nieto on the artwork chores. So great Hellboy in Love jumping on point for you all there on page 3. Gru! He's back, baby! Yep. Sergio Aragonés Gru the Prophecy, number 1, with co-written by Mark Evanier and Carrie Strachan on the cover work there. Obviously, Aragonés on the writing and artwork chores, along with Mark Evanier. A new Gru tale of prophecy and catastrophe, as only Gru brings. This begins a 4-issue miniseries of Gru the Prophecy on page 5. And any of you Resident Alien fans, this is the volume that leads us to the grand finale of this long-time running series, which then became a Sci-Fi Channel show, which I actually really like. I'm not quite done with the first season, but I've been enjoying what I've been watching of it a lot. Got to read the original comic eventually.
Yeah, I've seen only the first like 2 or 3 episodes, I think.
It's good fun popcorn action, basically. And I love that he calls humans, what does he call them? Meat, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, good stuff. But Resident Evil Volume 10, Resident Alien Volume 10, one more for the road. One shot here concludes everything on page 6. Then American Caper gets a 6th issue. Dan Houser and Laszlo with David Latham on the artwork chores for this issue here on page 8. We'll get to the series finale of Night City. Didn't exactly last very long, but...
Well, I think it was a 3-issue mini to begin with.
Oh, I know. It's just when you say series finale in my head, I'm like, whoa, long running. No, it was a miniseries. No. That's not... Yeah, but Night City issue 3, Matt Kint, David Latham, the third and final issue for now of this action adventure series for you folks there on page 12. We're up to issue 8 of the 12-issue series, Powers 25 by Bendis and Oming. Any of you Powers fans, deep into the return there. And Umbrella Academy, the 6-issue series is now up to issue 4 of Umbrella Academy Plan B by Wei and Ba, the original creators there, on page 18. Usagi Yojimbo Kaito 84 gets its 2nd issue. We talked about the first issue last month, and I'm really looking forward to this this change in Usagi Yojimbo here. So, yep, looks like it's going to be some good fun on page 20. The Adventures of Lumen N by James Robinson himself and Phil Hester. Gets all 4 issues combined in one volume here on page 22. Any of you folks who are fans of either of these creators should definitely go ahead and check this book out.
Wow, yeah. Set in 1901, it features a relative of Captain Nemo. So it's kind of a little bit of a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen thing happening here, except it's focusing mostly on the work of Jules Verne.
Nice.
Yeah, I picked up the 4 individual issues of that, but I nearly missed them. And in case you did miss them, listening at home, all 4 issues are collected right there for you to check out.
There you go. And this is something interesting here. The complete extra, the EC archives. Johnny Craig, Colin Dawkins, John Severin, and Reed Crandall all together here. All 5 issues of the daring stories of cub reporters and grizzled news hounds across the country and around the world. In a new affordable paperback edition featuring in fully remastered digital color the works of Craig, Severin, Crandall, and Maurice Severin as well there. So all 5 issues of extra on page 24.
Yep, that looks like kind of a rarity, actually.
Yeah, it is.
I had no idea that EC had published such a thing. 5 issues of stories about reporters.
Yep. Go figure.
Here we have volume 2 of a series of omnibuses reprinting Jim Starlin's Dreadstar. This time it's issues 9 through 24.
Yep. That's there on page 25.
Indie cosmic action the way you like it.
Absolutely. And Richard Corbin's The Last Voyage of Sinbad gets a collection here featuring art pages restored by longtime Corbin collaborator Jose Villabarria and re-lettered as well to go along with it. So nice brand spanking new edition here with an introduction by Guillermo del Toro himself. Gorgeous hardcover with a dust jacket as well. The fancy schmancy edition of The Last Voyage of Sinbad here on page 26. However, only $34.99. I mean, yeah, it's 120 pages, so that might be a lot for that, but you're getting a lot for your bang for your buck here, definitely. Ooh, and then Lobster Johnson gets an omnibus. Mike Mignola, classic Lobster Johnson character from the Hellboy world. Full omnibus of his adventures here on page 27. And Mark Miller's Nemesis Forever, not to be confused with Batman Forever, on page 29. He's not Batman, we swear.
Nope, definitely not.
Legally different in every way. Jim Zub's Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons Library Edition, available for you on page 32. You want to go full whole hog with your Stranger Things D&D? Well, nobody better to do that than Jim Zub himself, the master of D&D storytelling. So, page 32 for that. And that concludes Dark Horse. All right. And guess what? We're going back to the catalog. So, onward we go. Continuing in a straight line. And let's see what we have here. Actually, might as well just get us started here with Drawn and Quarterly. He Rolled Me Up Like a Grilled Squid by Yoshihiro Suge. A manga icon's most perplexing, transgressive, and astounding work of horror and surrealism. On display here. Translated by Ryan Holmberg. Yep. By the mid 70s, Suge Yoshiharu was a man changed by circumstance. Something his work from 1971 to 81 boldly reveals. After settling into married life with fellow artist Fujiwara Maki, author of Eisner-winning My Picture Diary, Sugi would return to the narrative formulas that he knew best. Tall tales exchanged between fellow travelers, macabre parables tinged with magical realism, and the enduring comedy of the domestic everyday in a Japan rebuilding itself in the decades following the Second World War. Yet the confusion of mental illness simmering beneath the surface of his more surreal works come to a rolling boil. On display here in He Rolled Me Up Like a Grilled Squid. So, some very fascinating work here, and I mean the artwork is superb, but very much behind the veil of a very famous creator and his mental troubles and issues all on display in comic book form. So, good times there on page 153. By good times, I mean bad times. All right. Next up, all the cameras in my room by Michael DeForge. Razor-sharp short stories from the greatest contemporary comic stylist. He's been dissecting the comics visual language for more than a decade and continues his creative winning streak. It is his 10th book for Drawn and Quarterly and second collection of short stories, All the Cameras in My Room. So if you're looking for a visual feast, you'll most definitely find it there and more on page 165 of the Lunar catalog. Drawn and Quarterly is like, do you like preview pages? Because boy, oh boy, are we going to give you all of them.
And how.
Yep. On we go to Dynamite. That is the most Dynamic Forces solicits that I have seen in a catalog, and I can't tell you how long. But, as I said, onward to Dynamite. and
Eventually.
Exactly. Let's get to Thundercats issue 25 here. Declan Shelvey and Drew Moss's Thundercats reaches a milestone issue, and they're charging regular price for it. Looks of it, yeah. How about that? $4.99.
Yeah.
Okay,
Regular for them, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
all cardstock covers as they keep on trumpeting.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they sure do like to trumpet that for sure, and 7 variants, but you know that's also the case here always. But congratulations on Thundercats for reaching its 25th issue there on page 207. And the Classics Collection Omnibus hardcover is solicited here on page 209. A whole bunch of the old school Marvel Thundercats collected in one giant omnibus there on page 209.
Looks like they're selling some exclusive signed editions.
Mm-hmm.
One by artist Brett Breeding and one by the guy who did the voice of Lion-O, Larry Kenney.
Excellent. Oh.
Oh, and the Disney Villains series continues. This time, Gaston from Beauty and the Beast is getting that treatment, and his miniseries is being co-written by Greg Pak and Fred Van Lente, with art by Milena Ciccarello.
Wow. No one miniseries like Gaston. Yes. And great team to cover somebody as vain and annoying as Gaston. I'm sure that they're going to get into that in spades. Yep. Good stuff indeed there on page 211. Great preview pages for that. It's echoing the Beauty and the Beast movie, but also with its own flair, exactly what we like to see from stories like this.
Yep, it's definitely art that bespeaks the 2020s more than the 1990s.
They also decided to give Gaston a Family Guy style butt chin. So
there's that guy whose chin is a balls.
All right. Come on, Ed Brisson. Like, all right. Good for you, Dynamite, for doing the inevitable. And wow. Thundercats x Silverhawks Road to War. The crossover between the redrawn cell animation series and its original, finally for us to enjoy. Oh my God.
Oh yes, this has been brewing for decades.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anybody who was a fan of them back in the 80s, you're going to love this. And hey, they even give you a premium mystery blind bag while you're at it. Really. Prelude to Destruction. On page 217 there. Ed Brisson on the writing, and Elton Tomasi and Elise Leclerc on the artwork chores. There's Silverhawks in my Thundercats. There's Thundercats in my Silverhawks. We got our second issue of Muppets Noir by Roger Landridge there, solicited on page 223. Excellent. We're only a couple of weeks away from the new Muppet Show special that's going to be airing on Disney Plus as well.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. Also, definitely looking forward to reading Gargoyle's Darkwing Duck in its fullest once it is released, especially because I'm pretty sure my library app will have it, so I'm looking forward to that on page 227. Then we get a Omnibus Volume 2, Cowl and Fowl, great name for it, of Darkwing Duck there on 228. And the Gargoyles Clan Building trade paperback on that next page, 229. And a DuckTales Volume 1 trade on 230. Jason Aaron's Thundar the Barbarian. Man, this guy is having so much fun with his career right now. On page 233. Literally taking things he wants to take at this point in his career, and I love him for it. It's like, do you want to write Scrooge? Okay, sure. You want to write Thundar the Barbarian? Okay, sure. You want to write Ninja Turtles? Okay, sure. Like, come on, man. Like, damn. Good for you, Jason Aaron.
Mm-hmm. Amen. He does seem to be enjoying the assignments he's got.
Damn right. Second issue of Archie X Army of Darkness there on 235. And the final issue of Harley Quinn X Elvira for you there on page 237, completing that miniseries in full. All right. And I think that's about it from Dynamite.
Oh, there's a 12th issue of Vampirella by Christopher Priest.
Oh, yeah.
For the Priest collectors out there.
Mm-hmm. Good point. That's on 249 there. Outside of Dynamite, Mark Spears' The Midnight Man.
Mm-hmm. Yep, this is set in the Monsters universe of Mark Spears' written and illustrated monster comics. It's a whole line that's going on here at Keen Spot. And here's a superhero that's going to be fighting them, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he has a skull and bones on his chest, and he's not the Punisher. So
yeah, nor is he the Black Terror. He's Midnight Man, damn it.
Yes, he is. He's also not Captain Atom, even if he looks a lot like him. So, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's kind of like... Actually, you know what? If Captain Atom and Electric Blue Superman had a baby, that's absolutely...
His name would be Dr. Manhattan, but if that baby had a brother, it would be named Midnight Man.
Point. And boom goes a Dynamite. Well done. All right, page 257 for that. And on we go to Fantagraphics and Art and Beauty drawings by the one and only R. Crumb. A wonderful window into Crumb's world of bodies and ideas, art, and beauty. Presents all 3 issues of the series in one book, Art and Beauty is arranged chronologically from the earliest images in the 90s to drawings completed in 2016. Paul Morris, longtime gallerist and supporter of Crumb's practice, writes an introduction that contextualizes this body of work and the artist's career. So any of you Crumb heads out there, this is for you on page 265. Dan Klaus's 8-Ball gets a facsimile edition. Even they can get it in the facsimile game. So good on them. Good on them for that.
Yeah, they did Love and Rockets #1 a couple of months ago. And
good point.
For that to come out. And actually, there's a little image of it right down there in the lower right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Love and Rockets #1, Hate #1, and now 8-Ball #1.
Yep. Classic Dan Klaus book. They're on page 271. And 272, Uncle Scrooge, number 466, by Moonlight's Blight. It's Scrooge. Enough said.
Yep. It's a magical dispel story.
Ooh. Nice. And Fantagraphics Underground brings us Fungi. A family pushes through nearly impenetrable physical and psychic terrain in a metaphorical parable of life in the 21st century. Page 274. Want to get depressed? This will be hopefully a way out of it and not a way into it, but nonetheless, Fungi here by a bunch of people. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to butcher it. So do check it out. Fantagraphics Underground. I think that's what is it? Wojtek
Vacek and Tomasz Lulesnik.
There we go. Okay. All right. Good. Thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Happy to help.
Page 274 for that.
That's no guarantee that I pronounced those names correctly either, but I thought I'd give it a shot.
You did a damn closer job than I would have. So well done, Murd. Well done. Ben Sears has a new book, Young Shadow, a new protector in this exciting new middle grade graphic novel from cartoonist and musician Ben Sears. Young Shadow usually protects Sci-Fi Bolt City by making deliveries for the food bank and rescuing pets. But one night he discovers the Sludge Team, conspiracy composed of a CEO of a chemical plant. To stop their evil plan, Young Shadow must don a couple of batons, knee pads, and small black mask, and team up with Spiral Scratch in order to stop them. So, Young Shadow by Ben Sears, a nice all-ages superhero fare there on page 275.
Oh, wow. He also teams up with some armored nuns.
Gotta love me some armored nuns, baby. That's the way to go.
Yep. Well, I'm rehearsing for a production of Nonsense 2 right now, so I've kind of got nuns on the brain.
I love that there's a Nonsense 2. I love there's a Nonsense 1 for that matter. So.
Ian, they went ahead and made like 6 of those things. It's a whole franchise, I kid you not.
Wow, there's only 2 sister acts, but there's 6 Nonsense? All right, fine. Why not? Meanwhile, for the mats out there, The Phantom, The Complete Dailies, volume 35, by Wee Falk. So this collects a whole bunch of old Phantom strips into one collection here on page 282, and done the opposite orientation than what a normal comic would be, so you can get as many of those comics in their original form. So check that out on page 282. Horizontal instead of vertical. Further down we go, and Hermes Press is going all out Beatles. Hard Day's Night Hotel, The Inside Story. Artwork by Shannon McDonald and text by Bill Heckel. In the town where they were born, birth of a Beatles hotel. 100 rare, historical, and utterly captivating works of art adorn the walls of the Hard Day's Night Hotel bedrooms. Perhaps you've never been there. Maybe you have. You never experienced the complete Shannon Beatles collection in its full glory. Well, this is where you will find that and more. And if you Beatles heads, you've got tons of fantastic Beatles artwork on display inside of this very issue. So do check that out for sure. Out of Hermes Press. And later than usual, because we changed it up, Image.
Yay.
Woohoo. Let's get us to Patrick Kinlan and Ifix. EPHK. Ifik. Tigress Island, number 1 of 5 here. This is a mini-series premiere. Group of down-on-their-luck actresses are kidnapped to an island prison run by a sadistic female warden. Working together is their only chance of escape, but trust issues abound. Action-adventure inspired by exploitation films, ridiculously fun, and seriously sexy. Oh my. Tigress Island, 1 of 5 here on page 304. We also get a new miniseries, Narco, number 1 of 5 here by the one and only Doug Wagner. Daniel Hilliard on the artwork chores for this. Marcus Westphal has a rare form of narcolepsy. When he gets excited, he passes out. He's adapted. Homebound life, a harmless infatuation with the girl next door. But when he witnesses her murder and collapses, he becomes suspect number 1. And now he must leave his apartment to pursue a killer.
Interesting setup.
Excellent.
Yeah. And on the cover, there's it's raining Pop-Tarts in the background. So.
Oh man, yeah, I'm down with this. That looks like it could be damn fun.
It could.
Yep. Page 306 here in the Lunar catalog for Narco, issue 1 of 5, and then 308. This ain't Your Amazing Fantasy. It's Super Creepshow number 1 of 5. Kieran Gillen, Ryan North, Rossi Gifford, and Derek Charm behind this. You had me at Gillen, you had me again at North. This is the type of, creepy horror book that I will be down for. Absolutely. Miniseries premiere. Earth's mightiest superhero horror series assemble. Nice. Ooh. Really like the artwork on the following pages, too. They go for the... not quite the typical superhero horror look, but also horror. Lots and lots of horror.
Yeah. And curse words that they forgot to censor, too.
Forgot. All right. Joe Casey and Paul Fry bring us the Blood Squad 7 yearbook. The first issue of the Blood Squad 7 yearbook is finally here. Within this extra-length, action-packed, mind-bending conclusion of this epic storyline, secrets will be revealed, worlds will collide, heroes will struggle, legends will die, and things, both past and present, will never be the same again. Long time coming for this Blood Squad 7 yearbook, essentially an annual conclusion to the story arc here on page 310.
Part of Joe Casey's continuing send-up of a 90s image.
Yes, indeed. Get a new arc from Tony Fleeks here with Feral number 21 there on page 311. And Invincible number 1 gets a foil edition. How many times could Image possibly reissue Invincible? As many times as they want. It's Invincible, but still.
Yeah. Try them.
Yep. Well, they found a new way to do it on page 312. If you wanted it in wonderful holofoil, you get it. All right. Invincible Returns, number 1, facsimile edition. This continues the special reprint featuring the first appearance of Thrag, who debuts in season 4 of the Invincible animated series. After the shocking events of the Invincible War and the cataclysmic battle with Conquest, Invincible is ready to turn the page to a bold new era just in time for the Viltrumite War to begin. So this was a one-shot issue that came out to kind of return the Invincible series to its new arc. And that's what you get here with Invincible Returns number 1 here on page 313. And Invincible Universe Battle Beast gets its 7th issue as well there on page 314. Now, this is a huge one. Page 315, back in print for the first time since it came out. Marvel Team Up number 14 being put out by Image in association with Marvel. This is the Invincible crossover issue with Spider-Man, which which was a send-up. They had a send-up to it in the Invincible animated series, using a nondescript spider character voiced by someone who voiced Spider-Man in an animated series to make it that much more like him. But it wasn't Spider-Man.
No, sure.
This is the original story. It's great. I talked about it on a Back to the Bins episode a couple years back. I love this issue with a passion, and I'm glad that more people get to experience it here on page 315.
I just read my copy of it this past summer.
Fantastic. Love it. It is actually available in the Marvel Unlimited app, funny enough. It's available just in the list of Marvel Team-Up issues, but in physical print, this is the first time it's back in physical print in a very, very long time. So, yep. Page 315 for that. And then we get a whole bunch of Image firsts, printing the first issues of popular series for $1 a piece. So following along the lines of what we talked about with IDW, you get Bitter Root, Feral, The Darkness, Witchblade 96, Witchblade 2024, Chew, 7 to Eternity, Youngblood 92, and Low, all available for $1 a piece. Their first issues on the first couple of pages here of the Image catalog. I also realize that Image has their own numbers on their catalog as well, so from this point forward, I will also be mentioning those. But up to page 14/317 is where they list those. Assorted Crisis Offense hits its 9th issue here on page 15/318. Denise Camp and Eric Zawarski. I am picking this up in trade, most definitely. And Invincible Universe Capes number 5, reintroducing a corner of the Invincible Universe that had long since been out of print. All-out war between Capes Inc. and Chronodile begins here on page 17/320. Love this cover to Dork number 2 by Brett Bean. Very simple, animated, and cute.
Yep.
All right. Any other ongoings worth mentioning? Everything else is pretty much mid-storyline, but Free Planet issue 10 I'll mention on page 27/330. And for no reason whatsoever, I'll mention this. G.I. Joe, issue 20, Joshua Williamson. This is a month where not only are we getting, Thundercats and Silverhawks crossing over, but we also get Optimus Prime and Duke meeting for the first time in G.I. Joe issue 20. Hot damn.
Yeah, it's
80s kids. Oh, yeah.
The promise of the decade fulfilled.
Absolutely. What does this mean for the future of the Energon universe? Probably a lot. But G.I. Joe issue 20 by Joshua Williamson there on page 28/331. The Homophiles edition reaches issue 24 on page 30/333. First appearance of Firefly, Zartan, and Wild Weasel. Wild Weasel, what a name.
I know. I have no idea what the character is, but I just... the name just gave me the giggles.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Savage Dragon is at issue 280. 20 issues away from the 300th issue of Savage Dragon. How about that? Page 41/344 for that. Written and drawn, as always, by Eric Larson. Void Rivals at its 28th issue. They're on page 50/353. The Quintessent War continues in full there. And on we go to the trades. Let's see if anything worth mentioning here. Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger by Palmiotti. They're on page 361. Collects 1 through 6 of Western Spawn. That's on page 58/361 there.
It's a good pulp novel cover there.
Absolutely.
It was a complete collection of something else that I've just been reading from its original print run lately. It's early Rick Remender work, written by Remender with art by Matt Broom, Eric Canete, and Andy McDonald. It's called The End League, and it's about a ragtag bunch of superheroes who are just trying to survive, basically, in a post-apocalyptic world in which the villains ganged up and not only defeated all the most major superheroes, but collapsed Western civilization as we know it. So the heroes are reduced to just like desert rats, just struggling to survive.
Very cool.
It's not the most optimistic superhero story you'll ever read. But
doesn't sound like it. Yep. But yeah, early Remender work, and this is collected only for $19.99. Not bad.
Yeah. It gives you the entire series in under one cover.
Not bad at all. Yep. Page 61/364 for that. And then for more recent Remender, along with Daniel Acuna, you get Escape in full trade paperback form on page 62/365. Collects the first 6 issues of that. Exquisite Corpses gets a volume 2 on page 63/366. And Feral on the next page, 64. And then G.I. Joe Deluxe Edition here on page 65/368. Collects 1 through 12 of the current G.I. Joe and a story from the Energon Universe Special 2025. It's all there and good packaging for it. Radiant Black gets its massive edition book 2. And love me some Radiant Black, and this gives you a whole lot of it in one here. So
how massive is it? 13 issues.
Yep, 13 through 24, and the Shift one shot, and a complete cover gallery and more than 30 pages of new and exclusive behind-the-scenes back matter.
Okay, so that's actually 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. Yeah, it's only 12 issues.
Darn it. I wanted a 13th. Ah, well. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yep. Page 74/377 for that. Then a deluxe edition of Transformers with an absolutely awesome Dan Warren Johnson cover there of Megatron on page 75/378. That collects 13 through 24 of that and stories from the Energon Universe Special from 2024 and 2025. And that concludes Image. And let's see what else we got here in the catalog. Speed Racer issue 6 by Paposi there on page 386.
We're in the Mad Cave section of the catalog here.
We are indeed. The third issue of Didio's Defenders of the Earth Dark Destiny. Getting together a whole bunch of the characters under Mad Cave's roof into one comic there on page 388.
Yep, classic King Features Syndicate crew there, Flash Gordon and Phantom and Drake the Magician.
Everything else is mostly ongoing here. Although I'll mention this right here, yeah.
Faith and Megara. Yep, it's a Dick Tracy St. Patrick's Day special. It's written by Alex Segura, Michael Moraci, and Tim Seeley. Art by Craig Cermak and Rebecca Isaacs. And, it's Dick Tracy St. Patrick's Day comic. There aren't enough St. Patrick's Day comics out there. And
there aren't any, so this makes it one.
No, there's one of the emeralds of my collection is the old Blue Devil St. Patrick's Day special.
Ah, nice.
Yes, in which Daredevil's alter ego of Daniel Patrick Cassidy explored his own Irish roots and of course encountered a leprechaun.
All right, go figure. Well, Dick Tracy is out and about on St. Patrick's Day on page 395. Alex Segura, Michael Moraci, and Tim Seeley are behind that, along with Craig Cermak and Rebecca Isaacs. As we scroll down, we get to, just because I want to say it, the Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre, issue 2, by Fred Kennedy and James Edward Clark. What was that name again? That's right, the Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre, issue 2.
Starring the Laser Drug Force.
Hell yeah. The hippos are loose. Damn right they are. Page 403. Like some names you just have to say. Just like this.
It's a great title.
Yeah. Is Ted okay? I don't know. Is he? But that's the question. Issue 2. Dave Chisholm, page 405. Right. Out of Mad Cave we go into what is next. And what is next is The Last Call to Leave Earth, OGN, by Casio Ribeiro. Rita, Carlos, and Lucas were merely friends until a pivotal moment changed everything. They photographed what many in the small town of Camino de Anta believe to be an alien. Years later, Rita, now thriving as a professional photographer, returns to discover the truth behind that fateful day and its effects on their lives and the community. So, Last Call to Leave Earth, a interesting take on a alien encounter for you there on page 427 out of Nakama Press. Beat Everyone Up, original graphic novel by Lan Pitts and Joe Hunter. Some good names this month. Listen up. This is a fisticup-filled tale of Princess Hala of Terriger. A natural-born fighter since childhood, Hala must head out into the wider world when her soon-to-be husband is groom-napped on their wedding day by the atrocious ape and would-be world conqueror Go-Go. Not Mojo Go-Go, just Go-Go.
No, most certainly not.
But Beat Everyone Up, original graphic novel, looks like fun for the whole family here. Lan Pitts and Joe Hunter on page 431.
Yep, especially if the whole family is into video games.
Yes, indeed. That's out of Maverick. Down we go further. Massive Indies brings us... the form factor of this just makes me happy. Page 439... Jurassic Park, VHS, the making of Steven Spielberg's iconic film.
That's a visual handbook special edition, VHS.
Damn Skippy. Yep. Love it. So all the behind the scenes of how this movie came to be in a visual wonderland for you. They found a way here on page 439. And then on the next one, this one reminds me of the Babe.
What Babe?
The Babe with the power.
What power?
The power to voodoo. Who do you do? Remind me of the Babe. There we go. Labyrinth VHS, the making of Jim Henson's iconic film. They're right there, smack there on page 440. Also, please watch out for your March running into your 2026. Thank you very much. Spacing is important.
It certainly is.
Yep. All right. Ooh. Man, these Inside editions are actually really, really good. Superman, the Definitive History, an updated edition, including newer changes that have occurred in the Superman mythos, including the new movie. So any of you who want an updated edition of that, that'll be out in March of this year for $75. And goes through the whole history of Superman from Krypton to Smallville to Metropolis to the set of Superman and beyond. So page 443 for Superman, the Definitive History. Down we go into some more indies. Massive indies at that. They're so massive. Hitting a first issue. A whole bunch of stuff in multiple issues here. Although, Cosplayer versus Shark. I just had to bring it up for the fact that it's literally just a take on the Jaws cover. Like that's all you need.
And right next to it is a St. Patrick's Day special I won't be buying. Horror Comics Leprechauns.
Yeah. That's not gonna happen. Even me, that would creep me out too much, quite frankly. Page 461 on that. They are not after our Lucky Charms. Have you been asking for cool new comic stories? Your prayers are answered. That's the only way to read that because it just sounds like really, really stupid. I'm sorry. But we do get exciting comics, which are, exciting. So,
It says so right there in the title. That's how you know.
Indeed. Issue 57 of that. But 1 of 5, we get Dan Eubanks and Jamie Collins, along with Dan Eubanks on the art and cover. Technocrime is on the rise in Bolt City. To combat it, Garen Max, a.k.a. Paladin, and his partner, Ellis M. Murphy, develop a cybernetic exosuit capable of providing the wearer with enhanced abilities. In the process, they uncover a lead to the corruption within the very industry that promises to improve the quality of life of the citizens it serves. An all-new 5-issue story arc from Anarchic Press, Exciting Comics, issue 57 on page 462. Are you ready for an adventure? Ooh, okay. Can't miss this. Page 468, Secrets of Jack Kirby, Methods and Techniques. Out of Hoffman International, a deep dive into Jack Kirby's methods and techniques and a bold exploration that uncovers creative secrets that had not been fully decoded before this book. Valuable insights for artists and for comics fans alike can be found in Secrets of Jack Kirby, Methods and Techniques. Want to learn to be Kirby? That's a way to do it. That's just in, you can't be Kirby. I'm sorry, it's been taken. I get to see this again. Murder Hobo. Murder Hobo Volume 1 out of Midnight Factory, Massive Indies on page 473. Joseph Schmalke, Jarrett Melendez. First volume of The Glorious Murder Hobo available to you all. Down we go to Sun Chasers, number 1 of 1. Interesting. Number 1 of 1. That's called a one-shot, fellas.
Yep. Well, it does say that on the cover, but the solicitation should probably follow suit.
Probably. Ben Ferrari, Buck Weiss. How do you redeem your family's name when your ancestor is history's most notorious villain? One bullet at a time. But Henry Hitler, yes, that Hitler, must convince the Sun Chasers he's on the side of good before it's too late. This one-shot also features a Doc Odyssey adventure with the abominable snowman. That is insane. I am at least glad he doesn't have a mustache, because that would just be one step too far.
A little too on brand, yeah.
Yeah. Quite literally a little too on the nose. So, Sun Chasers, number 1 of 1, a one-shot, available on page 484, featuring the one and only Henry Hitler. Oy vey. Whole lot of massive indies this month, I'll tell you. Any of you Willie Nelson fans, a graphic history of Willie Nelson, available out of NBM Graphic Novels there on page 499, written and drawn by TJ Kirsch. So if you want to smoke a doobie and listen and read a book about Willie Nelson's history, then boy oh boy, they've got it for you there on page 499. Onward into Oni. Dead Teenagers, number 1 of 5. Jude Ellison as Doyle, Caitlin Yarsky. There's no escaping high school. Quite literally. These are it's called Dead Teenagers for a reason, guys. Come on. Let's be real here. Since 1997, 5 friends have been trapped in the ultimate nightmare as a mysterious entity forces them to relive their first prom night over and over again and re-kills them in new and increasingly insane ways each time. They dress up, they party, they make out. And no matter what they try to change, they always die. Until now. Something is about to break the cycle that has kept Alicia, JT, Ryder, Brandy, and their group of friends locked in a bizarre purgatory beyond all understanding. But what they find on the other side will be the most disturbing revelation of all. Nice fun time loop here with Dead Teenagers, number 1 of 5.
Hell is the 90s, and this brash and brutal, genre-distorting ode to the generation that gave us Scream and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, I'm down. That works for me.
Yeah, and 1997 was my senior year, so almost seems to be addressing me.
It's
my
you.
My answer to that is, I didn't go to my prom.
Well, there you go. I went to mine.
I escaped death.
I went to mine. It was at the Brooklyn Marriott. Good times. Page 502 there for that. All right. Cult of the Lamb, Last Sacrament special. Alex Parkinell and Troy Little. It's a one shot that actually tells us it's a one shot rather than one of one. So that's just worth mentioning for that alone. 48 pages for $7.99. It's an indie. It's Oni. I can give them a little bit of leverage, but still, that's still a lot for 48 pages on page 505.
Yeah, gotta agree.
Yep. Everything else looks like it's kind of ongoing with them for now. Rick and Morty: The End is issue 4 of 6 here. Still looking forward to seeing who's going to get the Rick and Morty license after this, if this is actually the end. Sure, there's going to be some other ones soon enough. And we're out of Oni, it looks like. Oh, no, actually, Shin Zero Book 1, I'll mention real quick. Matteo Bablet and Guillaume Singuin, award-winning creators. 20 years ago, the last kaiju, a giant monster from the sea, was defeated by the Sentai, a group of colorful vigilantes. Today, Sentai are mere shadows of their former selves, relegated to low-paying odd jobs. Warren, Nikki, Heloise, Satoshi, and Sophia are part of a new generation of rent-a-hero trying to find their place in a disillusioned world where heroes have disappeared. Kind of a down-on-their-luck Power Rangers bent here with the Shin Zero Book 1 in softcover on page 520. Now we're out of Oni, and let's see if anything catches our eye in paper cuts. Ooh, they have Clyde available both in English and en Espanol. 527, 528 there. Nicely done. Disney Frozen, Anna's Adventure Journal. by Rona Cleary here. So nice tie-in book to any of you Frozen heads on page 531. It's an original graphic novel that stars Anna. It's perfect for middle grade readers who love graphic novels and Disney. So there you go. Really pretty artwork on the following pages as well.
They've got new comics volumes for Turning Red and 101 Dalmatians.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 533 and 534 for that. Kids oriented as well, and Tiana for that matter. Tiana's Adventure Journal.
Yep, written by the same Rona Cleary that wrote Anna's Adventure Journal, it seems.
Yes, indeed. Yep. She sets off to New York City for an apprenticeship at the most celebrated restaurant in Harlem. So there you go. Get some New York action in there for your Princess and the Frog on page 536. Nicely done. Now, here's the thing that was on the cover to this. It's a new comics magazine. What's it called? Comics, the magazine. Yeah, actually, I should say in the Sega voice, shouldn't I? Comics! The comic book magazine you demanded. You. All right, I'm pointing at the camera. It is here. Do you love comics? Yes. Do you want to read more comics that you will love? Yes. Do you wish you were a magazine? You wish you were a magazine. Do you wish there were a magazine you could pick up every month that also loves comics? Yes, Mr. President. Well, my dudes, all your wishes have finally come true. It starts with How to Make Absolute Batman. That's right. We're kicking things off with the hottest book of the century with a look at the past, present, and future of Dragotta and Snyder's absolute masterpiece. Interesting they put Dragotta and Snyder. That's yeah, you don't usually see the artist come first.
Yeah, did the same thing in the little blurb on the cover, too.
Mm-hmm, yep. Featuring interviews with the creative team and insane cover by Nick and Comics the Magazine art director Rico Renzi. Comics the Magazine is everything you ever dreamed of and more. So, yeah, it's been a while since we've had an actual comic book magazine that wasn't tomorrow's. And we're getting that here on page 538. So if you're interested and want to get into a brand spanking new industry mag, you got it right here.
Wow. It's only $2.99.
Yeah, not bad at all. Cheaper than most comics. We've also got out of Prana Publishers and Source Point Press on page 540, Josh Mallerman and friend of the show, Dirk Manning. putting this out along with Joshua Ross. Dr. Charles Macy has lost his reputation, his friends, and even his marriage in his pursuit to prove psychic powers are real. Now, in a final desperate bid to validate his years of failed studies, he invites 2 potentially psychic children into his home lab for a clinical study. What he doesn't know is that they both have powers and abilities beyond his wildest imaginings. And that, while one child has good intentions, one does not. Hence RSVP ESP on page 540. Like the artwork, too.
Yeah.
Very grounded.
Yeah, understated.
What the hell?
The Newest Testament presents Bible 2. Hail to the King of the Jews, baby. As we're shown an image of Jesus Christ with heat vision and twin Uzis riding on a purple unicorn. Oh, excuse me, a purple alicorn with rainbow wings.
I can't stop laughing. This is so stupid. I love it.
It's extremely stupid, yes.
Sacrilegious. Oh my
Well,
God.
they do define it as comedy.
Oh, they have to. Come on, man. He's kicking ass, putting the sin back in the synagogue. Hail to the King of the Jews, baby. Wow.
Yes. By Z.M. Thomas and Emilio Wu. That's where to send the angry letters.
Wow. Special new printing with a glitter cover on page 545. Oh, boy. All right. We're in 2000 AD at this point. Garth Ennis and Jerry Finley Day, rogue trooper when a GI dies. Page 552 there.
All right. Chris should be aware of this. It's another Garth Ennis war story.
Indeed.
Albeit not historical war so much as science fiction.
Yep. 3 years after the massacre that destroyed his unit, Rogue finds himself embroiled in a conspiracy that reaches to the topmost levels of Southern High Command. On Millicom, the South's orbiting control center, an attempt to revive the genetic infantry program has gone badly wrong and left Rogue's fellow GI gunner at the mercy of a madman. That's your basic premise here for Rogue Trooper by Garth Ennis and Patrick Goddard. And everything comes back to 2000 AD on page 552 here. Damn fine artwork, too. Oof, man. Good stuff. And the final monumental volume of the Gothic Jewel in the 2000 AD crown, Nemesis the Warlock, the definitive edition. So this is the final volume of that by Pat Mills, Kevin O'Neill, Henry Flint, and Chris Weston. Damn fine comic book artwork, to say the least.
Yep. I was gonna say, I have no idea what Nemesis the Warlock might be about, but those are 3 great artists mentioned there.
Damn Skippy. Yep. Page 555 there. All right. We're on Strangers, Fanzines, Publishing, and Distro. And we have Adam Falp bringing us something that is very Dorkin-esque. Electric Chair, number 1 of 5 on page 564. It's a one-man comics anthology featuring 36 pages of brain-melting psychedelia.
And that is comics with an X. If you look at the artwork on this cover, it screams comics with an X.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Definitely. So if you're into old school indie, this is going to definitely make you happy on page 564. We're going to head into Titan in a moment. And there we are. We are in Titan. Okay, and out of there, this cover is amazing, and I love every single minute of it. Rafael Garcia, Henchman number 1 of 4. Peter Murrieta and David Schrader bring this to us. Artwork by Ben Herrera. Page 591 of the Lunar catalog here. Action comedy that mixes the daily grind of the office with the slacker absurdity of Stripes if the general in charge was more like Lex Luthor. Okay. Well, not only is there a henchman eating a hamburger or possibly a sloppy Joe on the cover, but there's also a flying eye.
Right. So, he's just trying to eat his sloppy Joe or whatever that is, and he's being spattered with the gore and body parts, probably of one of his coworkers.
Yep. What if life in a supervillain organization was less like a James Bond movie and more like working at Walmart corporate? Okie dokie. Well, I'm in. This looks like fun. Rafael Garcia, henchman number 1 of 4, page 591 there. In the world of Conan the Barbarian, we've reached the 30th issue of Jim Zub's Epic. And it's still there with Doug Braithwaite along for the ride there on page 595. Lenore gets blood and money this time around. Into the world of Winnie the Pooh is only Lenore and crew can do. I don't mean that. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. Ew. Good times on page 601. That's what you can do when Winnie the Pooh is public domain.
Yes.
All right. Grendeezer U, The Inception, Bronk, Volume 1 on page 607. When a UFO from the Vega Alliance arrives on Earth, humanity faces its biggest threat in an oncoming alien invasion. Where Hope arrives in another alien, Duke Fleed, a refugee of the planet Fleed, who finds his home in Japan. Duke pilots the mighty Grendeezer, a weaponized mech to fight off the Vega forces. Along with his best friend and partner Koji Kabuto, they fight to free Earth from the terror of the Vega forces. So get Grendeezer U, The Inception, Volume 1, the prequel to the anime, on page 607. And not a lot of new manga this month from Titan, so that's it with Titan, and on we go to the Tomorrow's publisher. And we get Marvel Comics in the late 1960s by Pierre Comtois. This latest all-new volume in the ongoing Marvel Comics in the series takes you back to the company's late 60s era when past throwaway villains suddenly became world shakers and stories grew to encompass the earnestness and immediacy of the turbulent times. So see scores of handy, easy-to-reference new entries in the final issues of Tales of Suspense, Astonish, and Strange Tales, The Mighty Thor, Fantastic Four, Amazing Spider-Man, Daredevil, Avengers, X-Men, Silver Surfer, Captain Marvel, and more. All reference material here, together with a whole bunch of stories. This was previously solicited, but is available for you all once again here. Marvel Comics in the late 1960s on page 626. Yes! Page 627. I'm sure Chris is definitely going to check this one out as well. Back Issue Magazine number 167, edited by Roger Ash, on page 627.
Our theme for this issue is girls, women, and ladies. Mm-hmm. And most prominent among these is Mayday Parker, Spider-Girl of the MC2 universe.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, we've also got focus on Squirrel Girl, Invisible Woman, Phantom Lady, Saturn Girl of the Legion of Superheroes, and others.
Very, very happy about that. The Pat Olive cover harkens back to a while ago, back when Spider-Girl was still regularly featured. And, of course, you get Aleph to do his best at a cover there, and boy, oh boy, did he get the job done as always.
And inside there is an pro-to-pro interview with Tom DeFalco, the writer behind Spider-Girl, Ron Frenz, and Pat Olive.
Gotta love it. Yep. Spider-Girl, for any of you that are uninitiated, was the only book that came out during the 2000s that remembered that the 90s existed for Spider-Man. And very much continued off of one of the biggest hanging threads that happened in all of 90s comics during the Clone Saga, and that, of course, is the disappearing baby. And guess what? In Spider-Girl, the baby didn't disappear. it became Mayday Parker. She became Spider-Girl, and the rest, as they say, is history. So it really is an excellent, alternative future for the Marvel Universe, where we actually get to see the next generation of heroes done in a pretty damn fine way. So really enjoyed that time. So check that out there on page 627. And that is it for tomorrow's this month. And onward we go to if there's anything else in this book. And guess what? I don't think there is, unless, Street Fighter Masters Karen #1. Just because they made a comic book out of Karen, one of the silliest characters in Street Fighter. She wears that silly dress and fights people in it, and good for her. Karen Kenzuki, the world famous martial artist and CEO of the Kenzuki Zaibatsu. So David Lumsden and Tovio Rogers bring that forth for us here on page 640.
Yeah, David Lumsden writes humor pretty well, so trust him to write a story about a silly Street Fighter in a puffy Lolita dress.
Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, and here's a story about man-eating butterflies.
Yay! Thanks, Jeremy Robinson. Nectar, the sweetest thing in life. Page 649. I'm done now. I don't want that in my life anymore. I'm moving on. However, I do get to say this, which is like hearkening back to the days of old school me going through the manga section.
Oh, definitely.
My best friend is an eldritch horror. The beloved webtoon with more than 6 million reads and over 180,000 subscribers makes its way to print for the first time in graphic novel format. This is the first volume of that, and it has the perfect manga title, if I do say so myself, even if it's not officially a manga. So, well done. Love it. Actus is the writer, and the artist is Black Lapis. Don't think these are their real names, but, whatever. I'll work with what I got. So, page 651 for that sucker. And I think that is it. We are done.
All right. Look at that.
All right. Not bad, and in a much more linear fashion than usual. And we managed to get it at just about 3 hours. So I think we cut off about a whole half hour there.
Saved a little time by cutting out all that doom scrolling through stuff we'd already done.
Exactly. Oh, I wanted to mention before we do wrap up that an episode of a podcast that I was on just got released. Good friend of the show, longtime friend of both of us, Atchatak himself, Mike Atchison, has a podcast known as the Mike's Comic Shop Roadshow. And on his most recent episode that was just released 3 days ago, I guested, and we talked about the manga Blue Period. So he visited Phantom Comics, and then he had me on, and we talked about Blue Period. So if you want to listen to that episode and hear Mike and I go back and forth about manga, I really enjoyed that volume, and I may very well go and read more of it or watch the anime at some point. So Blue Period is all about basically a college kid or a high school kid who decides he wants to get into the one public art school in all of Japan. And it's the most difficult thing to do. And guess what? He's just starting out in art. So you're ground flooring with him. And one of the coolest things about Murd is they actually include artwork from actual real artists inside. So when they're showing you like the paintings that the people quote unquote drew in the comic, it's actual paintings that were drawn by actual artists, and they're credited accordingly. So I really appreciate that.
Neat.
Yep.
It's a way for up-and-coming artists to get some exposure.
Absolutely. So check that one out. It's available on iTunes and anywhere else you find podcasts. Mike's Comic Shop Roadshow, episode 36. So do check that out. And other than that, I'm going to check out credits. So another job well done, Murd. And, I'll give you a couple of weeks off, and then we'll go ahead and reconvene. What say you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Right. My best Steve Martin from the Muppet movie.
Damn right. Email address for Comic Timing is comictiming@gmail.com. You can find us at facebook.com/comictiming, where you can also find a Comic Timing fan group, which is well-run and bustling with posts. So go ahead and join that and talk comics with the rest of us. You can find video versions of this particular podcast at youtube.com/@comictimingpodcast. Also, when Raph gets a chance, he's been putting out his catch-up YouTube shorts that are available on there as well, so do check it out. We're on Bluesky as Comic Timing Podcast. We're on Instagram. We're on Bluesky as Comic Timing. We're on Instagram as Comic Timing Podcast and Threads on Comic Timing Podcast as well. Before I run out of words, I'll go ahead and end it here. Thank Murd once again for joining us. And as always, there's always time for comics and me. Man, oh man! I've only podcasted with you for 7 hours in the last 3 weeks.